Hello, family. Just wanting to pop on quick before we get into this episode to remind you that tomorrow we have a special bonus episode because Monday, tonight, if you're listening to this on Monday, tonight, the official premiere of FBoy Island airs with Katie Thurston as one of the leads. So tomorrow we will be releasing an episode with Katie Thurston, getting into all sorts of the behind the scenes, going over the premiere episode. It's going to be so much fun. So check that out tomorrow. But of course, we have our Love is Blind final episode and finale recap. And because we are going over a lot of reality TV this week and doing a lot of episodes, we're actually going to be dropping that on Thursday instead of the typical Wednesday. So check out our recap of Love is Blind on Thursday. Katie Thurston, FBoy Island tomorrow. We love you. Let's get into it, fam.
Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad.
Well, welcome home, family.
It's your mother and dad.
Your mother and your father. And welcome to the first annual Your Mom and Dad talent show of 2023, brought to you by the Golden Bachelor.
Where we'll podcast
as our skill, because
Could you
that's
imagine? It's
all
just-
we know how
yeah.
to do. Hooray!
Hooray! Everyone does like these 4-minute things and we're like, so the other day.
Just pull up a
2
chair and a
hours.
mic and we just talk about, when I was in line for coffee the other day.
God, the thing about coffee is, and they're like,
I mean, I'll be real with you. Okay, so of course today we're talking the third episode of The Golden Bachelor and we're talking the third episode of Bachelor in Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
In The Golden Bachelor, they did a talent show this episode and I was absolutely thrilled because the talent shows are my favorite.
yeah.
The talent shows are my most favorite because you see what creative things these people are deciding to bring up. But all I could think about, all of a sudden, it really hit me for some reason. Maybe it's because Joan was so nervous. But I don't know what all of a sudden hit me that I'm like, that actually would be so scary.
Yeah.
Like truly scary, because here's the thing. How do you decide what you're going to do?
Well, because it's like,
I'd be spiraling.
yeah, well, you're like, okay, most people, what they do all day is work, go to work.
Yeah.
So like, what are you going to go up there and be like, do sales? And you're like, so...
You're like,
Gary,
I'm really good at sales. I know I'm good at sales.
Your house will look incredible with solar. You know what I mean? Like, you're an accountant. You're like, can I look at your books? Like, is that the talent? But like, most people don't do things that are like show pony things.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, a talent show is definitely very much focused on what your talents are on the stage. So it's singing, dancing, acrobatics, juggling. I don't know, stuff that's like visual, but that's a very small percentage of talents that people have.
And then you also don't want to do something that's kind of like, you want to do something with like a pizzazz. Like, let's say you're a great pianist.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's say you got a great pianist and you are a pianist. Sorry, you guys.
I knew. I was like,
Sorry,
the second you
guys.
said pianist, I was like, here we go.
9-year-old over here.
Yeah, my God.
9-year-old. No, but so let's say you're great on piano.
Yeah.
It's cool, but it actually doesn't have a lot of pizzazz. It's like you're playing piano and then everyone's kind of sitting there going like, yeah.
See, I feel like that would be a slam in talent
I think it would be
to do.
fine because we've all heard it in like, hotel lobbies and stuff. So it's not like it's
fully
not a
disagree.
look at me.
That to me would be like, if I could play an instrument, that would be ideal to have the piano or like a violin, something that wasn't like singer-songwritery.
Yeah.
That it was like, oh my God, look at, I am sitting here and it is so
But they lack
gorgeous.
energy.
Yeah, but it's magical.
Right. But like, that's what I'm getting at is like, you kind of need a talent that like creates energy or engages people like one-on-one. So like, that's a tough, what would you do?
I was thinking about this. Yeah, I was thinking about it the whole time because I'm telling you, for some reason, it must have been the Joan piece, but it hit me out of nowhere. I've watched this show do a million talent shows. It hit me out of nowhere how actually terrifying of a date this is. Like, why are you guys making me do this? I didn't sign up. I signed up to fall in love, not to have to figure out last minute how to display my gifts, my talents, whatever. My go-to for me, I would feel like the obvious one would be singing because I can sing pretty well.
Yes.
But that would make me feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah, because it's a little too serious.
It feels too serious. Also, I would maybe do a song like My Girl, but I'd put like My Guy, you talking about? Just something kind of charming, I guess.
Well, it's kind of like karaoke. Talent shows are kind of like karaoke where you want a little comedic element to it, and actually being incredible at something isn't really the goal. The goal is kind of just having fun and maybe kind of embarrassing yourself to some extent.
1,000%. So I don't know if I would actually end up singing because I would feel maybe a little weird about it. Also, I haven't sung in so long. I'd be like, I'm going to be so out of practice. And then what if I hit a bad note? Then that's all that's going to be shown over and over.
Yeah.
On the TV.
Yeah.
On the television set.
On the television set. I would probably... Like I don't have like I can sing and play music.
You could do music.
No, but see, like I don't like that.
Yeah, no,
I don't want to do that.
You. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't have much. So what I probably would do is do what I'm best at and like maybe just argue.
You're like throw me a topic.
No, throw me a topic, and they'd be like this, and I'd be like dumb. Next, you know what I mean? I hate that. That's stupid. I like that. That's actually pretty good. Next. And you know what I mean? Maybe do something like that.
Something super positive.
Just
but bring up the room a little bit.
Yeah. Just tell everyone that their ideas are dumb or something. You know, then have that be the comedic element maybe. But like, I don't have any like balance this chair on my chin type, stuff that people have. Because people do have weird talents.
I think, you know what? At the end of the day, my current biggest talent is conquering an escape room by myself. So probably what I do is I'd be like, hey, everybody, we'll put a mini escape room on stage, roll in a little room. It'd have to be quite small. Normally you have to beat it in an hour. It's a small escape room, so I'll give myself 30 minutes, right? Yeah. We cut it in half. And so then they would just put me in the tiny room that's on stage, lock the doors. No one would have any idea what was going on the inside, except every once in a while you'd hear me cursing. I'd be like, oh, shit, fuck.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And then before we hit the 30-minute mark, I'd pop out and I'd be like, I did it.
Yeah, that's not exciting because no one's there. So what I would recommend to make a small tweak.
Can you imagine it's so long too? It's just in
it's
silence.
Like 2 hours.
You can't see anything. They don't have a camera in the room.
And you're just like, I did it. Or you get stuck and then they're just like, well, Jess didn't make it out. So next.
I guess I would just do burlesque then.
You'd have to do like the escape room blindfolded and then have the audience direct you on how to get through it. So they're all yelling over each other and it's a very engaged
That's
thing.
actually a fun idea.
Maybe something like that. But no, it's not easy. Like I do feel for Joan.
Get so famous from that,
Yeah, totally.
Like, wow, it's the one woman escape room artist.
Yeah, it's like we feel bad for her kind of thing. But
she doesn't have any friends to do it with.
Yeah, it's called The Lonely Girl. It's called Lonely. That's the performance name.
Yeah, no, that is my performance art piece. Lonely, alone. It's the one woman escape room artist. I'm going to take this on the road.
Honestly, with some of these clips I've been watching online about like a modern art, this could work. Because there's some that I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. Some guy's just screaming in the middle of a room and that's the piece. So maybe if you put enough meaning behind it, you could be the lonely girl.
Opening.
And it has like, you put a bunch of meanings to it, like this is about life and this is about like my soul inside and I'm escaping from my emotions.
You're getting my wheels turning a little bit.
Let's
I'm
go.
actually feeling pretty good about that. Yeah, I would do that or burlesque, probably.
Just da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, you know what? If I was on The Golden Bachelor, I'm in my 60s, 70s, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to do burlesque. I'm going to be like, just because you're getting older, like, I'm going to keep it sexy, baby. Yeah. And I would, put myself in some sort of maybe comedic looking outfit on the outside where I could take pieces apart of it. Mm-hmm. And then, va-va-voom.
I mean, I'm signing up for that one, baby. Let's go. I think what Gary would do.
Oh, what Gary would do. Okay.
What Gary would do is he'd call it The Listener. And all he would do is he would get on stage and they'd be like, tell me something. And then the person on the stage person in the crowd would be like, you know what? I've been really going through a hard time. He'd be like, I'm so sorry that you've gone through that. Next. And he would just go through like 5 or 6 of those and then make those people feel so seen.
And the whole room would be crying.
The whole room would feel very seen. And then he'd be like, thank you so much.
You know what? I think you're right. What an incredible talent that man has. Or he could be compliments only. He gets on stage and his
kind
talent.
Of a juxtaposition to me.
Exactly. He'd just be fighting everybody. Gary would get on stage and he'd one by one go through the audience and compliment each person, even without knowing them.
But not physically. It would be like, I can tell you're too generous.
But that's the thing about Gary is he can just really read through somebody that like, he'd look at you and he'd be able to give you an actually deep compliment quite quickly.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Sign me up.
Well, these were fun episodes.
I really enjoyed both of these episodes. And we
had some
got some
drama.
serious drama in both of them. The first episode of Golden Bachelor, where we started to see some interpersonal
We're running
drama
into some
on the screen. I mean,
issues.
this episode of Golden Bachelor was an absolute 10 to me.
Yeah.
Because we got it all.
Yeah, we did.
We got romance. We got the fun with the talent show.
Yeah.
We got the heartbreak with the whole Joan situation.
Yeah.
And then we had the interpersonal drama with Kathy and Theresa. I mean, we got it all in this episode.
I love it.
Okay, but before we officially dive into these recaps, family, listen, today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. You all know how Evan and I feel about therapy and how much it's benefited our lives and our interpersonal relationships and our actual marriage, our relationship. I can't express how many tools therapy has equipped me with that have helped me through so many moments throughout my life. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try.
It's entirely online and it's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist anytime for no additional charge. Like Jess said, we can't recommend therapy enough. Personally, it's helped me work through some past hurts, taught me healthy ways to communicate struggles and boundaries. Truly so much.
Therapy, Evan, baby.
Oh, yeah.
And just to echo it being designed online to be convenient and flexible to fit your schedule, this is huge to me personally. I think that this is just amazing. All of us, we have busy lives, whether it be school, work, kids, just life in general, but you don't want to miss taking care of you or your heart with therapy. And so the flexibility of BetterHelp really aids in making sure that you're able to fit in that session. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/momdad today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/momdad. BetterHelp.com/momdad. All right, I think it's time to just dive in.
Yes.
It's time to dive in. So first, if you've been following along, we're going to go over the Golden Bachelor episode, and then we're going to go over Bachelor in Paradise.
Wouldn't have it any other way, baby.
So let's start with our golden god, Gary. So from the very top, we have the formation of the first girl group.
Supergroup.
The girls, the first girl supergroup. If this isn't a future podcast, get out of my face.
It is.
Get out of my face if this is not a future podcast.
I know.
These four together? Are you joking? So we have April, Susan, Kathy, and Nancy in the ITMs is saying that we have formed a group and we call it Askin. A for April, S for Susan, K for Kathy, N for Nancy. And she's like, because you're asking and we're telling. And I'm like, hey,
that's a podcast.
They already have a tagline. I can hear the music with the intro. And the four of their dynamic, they all have different personalities and they're all really like funny and charismatic. Yes. That end scene where Susan was doing Kathy's hair and she was talking about her farting and then like Nancy pops in and she's like, it was the guacamole, and April's doing her makeup in the background. I'm like, you guys, like this is...
I know. They're like, they should be roommates.
They seriously should.
They should live in a house together and do a podcast.
And if none of them end up getting married to or engaged to Gary, these four need to move in to some home together.
Let's have them all four on.
Stop it.
That'd be sick.
Do you know that I would be like truly starstruck? I would be like real nervous beforehand.
What I love about them too is that their personalities are all so different.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of characters.
They totally are.
You know what I mean? Like having fun, let it fly, but they're also like unique in their own way. I think that would be honestly a fire pod.
They have they have Bachelor Nation podcasts that they've tried over the years, and some of them have been super successful. This would be their most successful podcast. Yes. No questions asked. No questions asked. They're all hilarious too. Mm-hmm.
And they would just say whatever they want, and it would just be hilarious. And they don't have to talk about The Bachelor. You could just call in because you're asking, we're telling, a call-in podcast where you try to get advice and stuff. I like that. Like, and if all four of them end up single,
yeah,
then they'd be like dating again, and they'd be going through this thing, and they could talk about this horrible date they had or this awesome date, and like,
oh my god, exposés about these guys that they're dating.
Yes.
I want them to find love, so I hope one of them connects with.
It could be like a single
Gary, but
season.
I also need this podcast.
This podcast is fire.
I need this podcast.
Get it done.
Anywho, okay. I was obsessed.
I love it.
I was obsessed. Now, there was a moment, and we'll get into the drama of everything, but I just wanted to know, there was a moment that was foreshadowing of what's to come, because we hear Kathy, they're starting to do a little gossip moment, right? They're starting to talk about what's going on in the mansion. And Kathy's making a comment about how some people are, when Gary's not around, just like staring at a wall. And then the second he walks in, perk up and are all, she's like, yeah, it's pretty wild to watch. Da, da, da. And then she throws out Theresa's name. Yeah. And she attaches that with, I forget exactly what she said, but it was something like she said very quickly, like, yeah, you know, I can feel jealous of, and she mentions Theresa.
Yes.
So that's the seed that we get, that I think there are some like deep-seated maybe feelings of jealousness for some reason with Theresa for Kathy.
Yes. I think Kathy kind of is the hard exterior, soft interior vibes, where it's like she kind of comes across like unfazed by anything. Yeah. But she's maybe one of the most phased, and it's interesting to see that. Oh,
and she's got a trigger point with Theresa specifically.
It's funny how we all kind of have that style of person
that can just get under our skin.
That like you could see a lot of the other women like not even knowing what was talked. Like I was there the whole time and I didn't see what she's
Faith
talking
was like,
about.
What?
Like how did that even happen?
Yeah,
but that's because she didn't get. But Kathy clearly knew a Theresa, and it drove her mental, like an old friend that like they blew out and like you know. Just represented that person.
1,000%. 1,000%. Okay, so we end up then being told that they're going to get a group date, and it gets to be everybody, which I love. Oh my God, I love when everyone is invited to the group date. They're obviously going to be performing in a talent show. So Gary lets us know that he has brought a friend. By the way, Gary, looking real good in that olive green, though.
Always.
That specifically... That shirt.
You took note of that.
I wrote it down. I was like, Gary is looking fine in that olive green with just, you know, a couple of the buttons open.
I love an olive green.
I love an olive green too.
A hot guy and some olive green. I mean, it's like.
It's a 10.
It's a 10 situation.
It's a 10. Yeah, I feel like his eyes really popped in that too. But he brings on Caitlin Bristow, which we love to see. Anytime we can get Caitlin, we're excited. And she lets everybody know that the winner of the talent show is going to be getting a one-on-one dinner with Gary. So essentially kind of a one-on-one.
Yeah, and everyone always has the exact same reaction every time to these talent shows. I better do good because I really want that one-on-one. And it's like, hey guys, have we not learned ever? And I cut these ladies slack because most of them don't even watch the show.
Yeah, they didn't know what the rose was about.
The amount of times the guys tackle each other as hard as they can to win, thinking that's going to get them the amount of times that there's a talent show where someone actually like has a real talent and is trying really hard and thinks and then they're devastated when they don't get it because they did really good. And it's like, when are we not going to realize that this show has nothing to do with actually how good you are at anything? It has like everything to do is if the person feels something when they watch you do it.
It's like when Caleb during the Barbie and Ken date really sang his heart out for Charity. Exactly. And he was like, I'm going to get it. And it was like, no, Charity liked the funny one where Sean could barely sing. Now, of course, Sean thinks he actually can sing.
Sure, but she thought he thought he couldn't. Yes. Little did we know, he literally thought he was fantastic and never changed since. But it was just funny seeing April or Faith, because Faith's actually like a really good singer, songwriter.
And player,
and she was kind of just like, I really want to make sure I do really good here. You know what was funny? I thought to myself, mistake. You got to go charming, endearing. You can't go serious. And as much as you are an amazing singer-songwriter, like it's not going to tell him anything about you.
Well, and Leslie too with the dancing. So at the very top, we're told, and we've seen that Leslie is like a pro dancer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that the producers are really lining Leslie up to spiral. They did it last episode where she couldn't get the outfit that she wanted. And then this episode, she was like, this is my date. Like, I will get this because I know I'm an amazing dancer. And she absolutely crushed. And then she had the whole underneath, and then she gave him a little bit of a lap dance vibes.
It was like a mini
It was
lap
hot,
dance.
hot. And then she lifted up what he was sitting on, and underneath she's like, and I can bake too. And then they had a kiss.
It was the most constructed, put together talent performance, because it had like elements to it. It was exciting,
10.
and then it was like there was like but I'm also.
It was a 10.
Yes.
Like the whole thing was perfect. It wasn't too serious. It was sexy. It was playful. It was funny. All of the things. And from the outside, I assume probably all the women are like, Leslie's going to win.
Yeah.
She didn't.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she was like, oh, my God, and is crying, having a moment. I feel for her. My heart hurts for her because I see it coming. It's going to be something where Leslie's the one that maybe we'll never get the one-on-one.
Exactly.
They're going to push it till the very end. And she's
Right
like,
before
when
she's
am I
about to
going to get it?
leave.
Yes,
Yeah.
we shall see. But we start off with Sandra, who is so funny.
Yeah.
Like, Sandra is everything to me. I am actually extremely disappointed. I'm loving the Kathy ITMs, don't get me wrong. And Susan's got quite a lot of ITMs. I need the Sandra ITMs.
I know that she's got like an amazing personality. We don't really see her in the ITMs.
I'm like, give us the Sandra ITMs because you know that they're hilarious. Maybe she just loves her F-bombs too much that they're like, we just had to pay too much money with editing to cut us.
Right, honestly. You know, we don't even know what she's saying because she'll say FF and then like 4 other words and those be beep the whole way through. So she's just hilariously like, you know, unabashed.
It must be the ITMs. They're just like, oh,
They're
God.
like, okay, the whole
They're
thing's
like,
a
we're going to
beep.
have to beep the whole thing out. And Sandra's just like, it's who I am.
I mean, that was the opening line. Remember, he was like caught back because she said something to him, you know? So
she is too funny. But when she's like, I'm going to try my hand at stand-up, this woman, I'm like, you're a pro.
and I was shocked by the tagline or like by the punchline because it was like the way she was talking. I was like, okay, it's going to be kind of like a corny chicken cross the road joke because it was like,
I thought it was like a fable.
Exactly.
I'm seeing the energy all of a sudden where she is the most confident person I've ever seen on stage for the first time, going back and forth.
Dude, comedy's terrifying.
And it's so scary.
Yeah.
I tried it the one time
You
and I was
killed it.
well, thank you, but I was literally shitting my pants.
So
I was
scary.
not nearly as confident as she is going back and forth, like working the stage. But then she starts kind of telling what seems like almost like a fable. It's so
you're like,
long.
oh, this is getting scary.
I'm like, is this like have an end that has like some sort of life lesson?
yeah.
And then she's like, we picked the one with the bigger boobs. And
I know that she killed it.
died. Like, she was so funny.
It was really
She was
good.
my favorite.
It was really
I thought
good.
that was so good. And then we had Susan. And Susan,
It's just like the headband. And my favorite thing about the Susan thing is there wasn't even a warm up. They just cut to her and she's like, cut! And then it just cut away. Like there was no build up where she came out and started doing like moves and warmed up to it. It was just
Moving
like,
up with karate,
it was just
yeah.
like they started doing a super cut of all the talents and it was like the big boobs, right? Everybody claps and laughs. And all of a sudden it's like, cut! And then it just like next
breaks the board.
with the
And
headband.
I'm also
and
like, protect Gary. Gary's right behind there and
Dude,
she's just
so
flying.
funny. And also with a kick, not a punch. That was very impressive.
So that is what blew my mind. I looked at you and I go, Evan, if I punch that, I don't think I could break it. This woman is using her legs,
Like a kick, dude.
the power of her quads
Throwing
to
a karate
break.
kick at 70?
I could not even believe that the power that requires.
She threw it quick. He was like, "God!"
and it just snapped it. Just boom. Oh my God, just perfect. Also, something of note that made me, again, fall out of my chair laughing is that it was a quick moment that we saw.
Yeah.
But if you looked on the screen, on stage in the corner, the cake that she popped out of was there.
Oh.
So it was in the corner, the top was open,
What?
which means
I mean, she did it again.
she popped out of the cake and then broke the board with her karate.
Which means she just brought that from home, probably. And that's like her thing. That's
Which
like
is
her
now
shtick.
my fantasy is that Susan, everyone's like, oh my God, how many bags did you pack? And Susan's like, well, I brought these 4 bags. And also
small trailer for my
a
cake.
small trailer for my cake with wheels.
With wheels. And I
you
bring it
know she
everywhere I
made
go.
it because she can do everything.
She can do everything. And so what'll happen is if she makes it to the end, she'll pop out of the cake to say yes.
Yeah.
And that'll be
He'll
like
be
a part
proposing to a
Yes.
cake.
Yes.
And she'll be like, no, you can just hear from the inside, Gary, just do it. I'm inside. Just keep going. Keep going. He's like, Susan.
Do it to the cake.
He's like, Susan, do you mind coming out? Because I have some words that I'd like to share with you about our love.
Gary, could you just talk to the cake? You gotta let me have my moment here, Gary.
My only red flag is that I can't go anywhere without this cake. It's kind of my thing, and it's a bit of I'm going through therapy with it, but I have to have the cake. You have to do the cake.
I am an incredible person, Gary. Okay, you know this about me. It is a little bit of a red flag that I always have this cake with me, but is it a red flag? Yes. Is it exciting? 1,000%. Keep proposing, Gary.
Focus on the chicken piccata. Focus on the chicken piccata.
It just made me laugh so hard at the idea that they brought that cake out. And that
It goes wherever she goes.
when we saw her pop out of it, it was that moment of like, oh my God, she's the one who gets to pop out of the cake. It's like, no. That's Susan's cake.
That's Susan's cake.
That's Susan's cake.
That's not the set. Yeah.
This is not like the traveling jacuzzi tub that goes everywhere for the Bachelor and Bachelorette. This is Susan's cake.
Susan's thing. Like you could see 5 years ago, she still had the cake. She was doing stuff with it.
They're going to be like, at the end, the producers and the staff, they're going to be like, hey, the people who work on set are going to be like, can we borrow that? We kind of loved what element it brought to the show. And she'll be like, absolutely not. I gave my blood, sweat, and tears to make this cake.
This is my cake.
Hell no. Oh, it made me laugh so hard. Then we have Ellen, who says that her talent is teaching sex ed to middle school students. And honestly,
Very
bravo.
funny.
That was a fun spin, kind of like on what we're talking about. Like that was super creative. Like
It was
what's
just
something that you
unique
do.
and fun, but it kind of took up. Yeah.
And then she was having everybody repeat after her. And also it is a skill. So bravo. Thank you for teaching the students of today. Then we have Faith with her gorgeous original. April pops up.
You can live your best life today. Get out there, ladies. This is your world. Take control. I was wondering, I was like, is she rapping? No, she's not rapping. Is she singing? No, she's not singing. Oh, she's literally doing a Tony Robbins conference.
She's doing a motivational speech to music.
Yeah, she's just like, life's about the journey, not the destination. Remember, keep your head up high, keep your smile wide. It was like so funny. I was like, I had no idea what it was even. It was just like this strange thing.
I
that
thought
was
she was
happening.
going up to do a cabaret.
Something.
And I'm like, hell yeah, April.
Yes.
Nothing screams April more to me than a cabaret.
Yes.
Okay, like I was picturing her with like, that little hat, or maybe even her doing burlesque. That would have been. She would have been amazing doing burlesque. And I was like, oh my God, here she goes, my queen. And then all of a sudden we switched to motivational speaking. I'm like, what's going on now? I don't love typically the motivational speeches.
Yeah.
I'll listen to whatever April has to say, but that one was a shock.
That killed me. It was just so out of left field. I was not ready for April of all people to be like, get off your ass. The world is yours. Like, it was such a funny, like, I was not ready for it. But she's kind of one of those people though that can kind of pull off anything and you just laugh.
She can do anything she wants. And then she even threw the comment in at the end where she's like, and there's always Botox. So she had her little punchline at the end.
She's definitely done that before. That was not a one-off. That was like something she's done at like a couple parties.
I think that she's like, everybody sit down.
Yeah, no, she likes, that's a thing she does.
Well, maybe she does conferences because as a therapist, sometimes she probably speaks for different
I forgot
conferences.
she was a therapist. Dude, April is a therapist. That concept's very funny to me.
If you don't think
that would be your dream therapist.
If you don't think that I'm going to try
to
make her my new therapist at the end of this, you've got another thing coming, my dear.
Idea.
Like, I needed to find out how to book April as my therapist. I'm sure she's slammed. I doubt she'll be able to squeeze me in, but God damn it, I'm going to try.
I love that.
I'm going to try. Kathy's doing push-ups.
Yeah, I didn't really see, because there was like there was a hat on the ground, so I didn't know if that was a part of it, but she was just doing push-ups.
She's doing, which is impressive. I can't do push-ups.
So impressive. And it's like an age appropriate thing too, because she's definitely probably playing into like, I can do 50 push-ups and I'm 70,
which is wild,
right? So it was like, that's a very impressive.
I mean, she's ripping push-ups. Nancy does a whipped cream. They call her the whipped cream catcher.
Like what? I don't even know what that was. That was the only one where I was like, what is that? Like she threw whipped cream in the air and threw it and then it landed on her face.
And she like put it here and then she hit her hand and it went right into her mouth. And then she was like, hooray!
Yeah, like I did it. I will say it's quick. It's quick.
And it's fun and everyone gets a good giggle out of it. I feel like those are probably good calls if you're like, I don't know quite what to do.
Yes.
Everyone is having a great time.
Yes.
It's a fun party trick.
Yes.
It
was cute. It was cute.
She's super sweet.
Her personality carried it. I think that's huge.
Yeah, for sure. And then we have Leslie, like we discussed. She's coming out dancing with the boa. She pulls Jerry up.
Yeah.
She has a little bit of a lap dance moment.
That one was the most I felt like talent showy.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like she's dancing incredibly. There's a sexy element. There's a fun element. It was well crafted. That was the most like, if you want to do it right, that's how you do it.
Just
like,
her everything,
her energy,
her personality, everything about her.
It's incredible.
She's just, smoke show, as they
Smoke
say.
show, absolutely.
So obviously we have more people that we didn't see, which I was
like
actually
Theresa.
like,
We never saw
we didn't see
Theresa.
Theresa, which I would have been curious what Theresa would have
Yeah.
done. We didn't see Catherine. There were numerous people we didn't see, which I was really disappointed by. I'm like, please show us everybody. It's
Right.
a talent show. I want to know, even if it's
Even if
if
it's
it
a
ends
quick
up
thing.
being a flop. I just want to see everybody.
Yeah, I was especially interested in what Theresa would do because she's so timid
Yes.
and kind of quiet that I was kind of like, what is she going to do on stage? You know what I mean?
You
I
know,
don't
Kathy was in the corner probably being like, I bet Teresa's going to come up and just be like,
My
Gary and
connection-
I are
She's
so
like, "Our
good
connection is
together,
incredible."
and none of you are connected the way that we are. You know what I bet? You know what I bet Theresa did?
What?
Maybe they would have shown this if she would have done this. But I bet she did something that connected with their first date. Like Don't Stop Believin', flash mob style.
That would have been a
like
wow,
maybe
you're really creative.
Maybe throw on a poodle skirt and do a lip sync
Do, like,
to Don't
swing
Stop
dancing.
Believin'.
Oh, I love that idea.
And then bring Gary up. Like, let's
Gosh, you would
create this
kill it.
moment.
You would have been so great on this show.
Thanks, honey.
Dang, I would have been so bad.
Well, I will be going on it, so just prepare yourself to watch
Okay.
me one day.
I support you 100%. I'll be there for you and coach you through it.
Be in my ear, babe.
Yes.
Be in my ear. Well, then we see Joan. Now, Joan has been talking the entire time about how she is super nervous about this, doesn't know what to do. So, of course, I lean over to you and I go, that means she's going to win.
Like while they're making this a moment.
Yeah. Like, oh, she doesn't know what to do. She's so nervous.
Because I'm sure many of the women had ITMs where they're like, I'm scared, I'm nervous,
Yes.
I don't want to do this.
Yes, for sure.
Build the draw.
Build it up. She ends up writing a poem. And again, you know how I feel. I feel the same way about poetry on the show, like I feel about the Serenade. But in typical Golden Bachelor fashion so far, I loved it.
Yes, I hate poetry generally by people who aren't poets.
Yes.
It's like there's only very few things in the world like where you absolutely, in my opinion, have to do it. You have to be good at it to even do it.
Yeah. And there's
Like,
nothing
I
like,
don't want to see your journey in poetry.
No.
I want to see the finished product when you're a really good poet. But early days working as a poet, brutal. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just a lot of like, I see the sky, I wonder why. You know what I mean? It's just like, ugh. But like good poetry or like heartfelt, meaningful things. So like I agree with you. When she said, I'm going to do poetry, I was like,
oh no, oh God, oh God.
this is brutal.
By the way, is anything sexier than someone who's an incredible poet? There's like not a lot of them out there.
No, but it can be incredible.
But like when you read a good poem, your life's changed.
Exactly.
And imagine being an incredible poet. What
Yes.
a wild world that would be.
Yeah, that is kind of a strange one, isn't it? Because it's like,
That's kind of that's my new fantasy. My fantasy used to be like imagining that I'm an incredible dancer. Like she's an amazing ballroom dancer, and that's like my journey is I'm a ballroom dancer. Now my fantasy is going to be like I'm a prolific poet.
it's a very like mysterious, sexy like thing to be if you're really good at it. Like if you were a poet, like if you make money doing
That's what I'm talking
poetry.
about. Or you like change people. Like
Yeah.
imagine people like reposting your poetry.
Like if you met somebody and they had a mansion and you're like, what do you do? And they're like, I'm a poet. That would be the ultimate like, who are you?
But a poet wouldn't have a mansion. They'd have like kind of a sexy small flat somewhere.
True.
Imagine you're in Europe and you meet somebody and, you know, she's like sipping on a cappuccino, smoking a cigarette, so mysterious. And you guys start talking and you look down and you're like, oh, what do you do? And she's like, oh, I'm a poet.
Poet.
I'm a poet. And you're like, can I see your work? She's like, oh, no. And then you look at it and it's like, it changes your
I'd
life.
be too intimidated. I couldn't date her.
It is
Too
you're like,
intimidated.
you're just too
I'd be
brilliant.
way too insecure because I'd be like, dude, I'm
You're
just
like,
like,
what can I offer?
I'm making fart jokes and you're sitting over here like writing the tapestry of the earth. You know what I mean? I would be way too insecure. I'd be like, I don't have enough like mystery romance in my soul to like draw you in. If you like me, that means that like you're gonna leave me very soon. You know what I mean? Like it's because you're working on a poem
You're like,
called
I'm
Simple
your
Man.
fling. You're listening.
And it's like, because poets and artists like that, they do things as like experiments for their art. So like I would, what would be happen? I would meet her at a cafe, and she would just like mystify me, and I'd be like, oh my God, I am so nervous around you. And then she'd be smoking her cigarette and drinking her cappuccino and talking to me, and then it would be like this love affair in France, and it would just be like a whirlwind romance. And then one day I just wake up and she's gone. I never see it again, and then my poem is sitting there on the table, and it just says "Simple Man," and then it's just a poem about like I had to try it for once in my life,
just some
to
man
be
who
with
just
a man whose depth was as deep as the kiddie pool at the at the Holiday Inn, like, you know what I'm saying, like this poem that just absolutely decimates my soul, because it's just like, I used you as a means to write about people like you. You know what I mean? Like,
who don't have any depth.
that just are just, a walking like fart joke. You know what I mean? And so that's what would happen to me. Is just the simple man. And then forever I would be scarred, because I could never get that type of woman again, right? But then also,
what about me?
Yeah. This is all in a fantasy movie version.
I'm like, that's not who I am.
But I would be like, I can never achieve that level of mystified woman again. But then at the same time, my confidence is in the toilet, because I've been used.
Oh my God, that made me laugh so hard. Oh God, that really got me. Okay. Okay, but back to it. Sorry, that just hit me all of a sudden. I was like, imagine being an incredible poet.
Yeah, that would be insane.
What a life. What a world.
I know.
God. Anywho, there's Joan. And Joan's poem is so good. The fact that she started it and she's like, it's called I Just Hope I Don't Vomit on Your Shoes. Hilarious. Funny.
That's like a real writer's poem too.
Yeah, it's not just like
me and you together.
Love. Yeah.
Like, I hope I don't vomit on your shoes.
I just hope I don't vomit on your shoes.
And it's about their love story, and then ends with that line. Like, that's someone who knows how to write. That's someone who knows how to write.
Yep. She was a great writer.
That's someone, yeah.
And when you hear that title, you're like, oh, it's going to be funny. And it actually had some funny moments, but it was mostly emotional and sweet.
Yes.
And then she hits you with that funny last line, I just hope I don't vomit on your shoes. I was like,
really good.
Why is this so good? Like,
it was really good in multiple ways. It was really good in a way that it wasn't trying to be too good, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it wasn't over artsy and deep, but it also was better than surface level. It was like a perfect mixture for someone who's not a poet.
Yeah.
But good enough to make you go, whoa, this is something special.
Yes.
The way she kind of drew you in, the way she kind of gave you her personality, the way she kind of put you in her vision, like you were seeing it through her eyes. It was very good.
It was very good.
The second she ended, we both looked at each other and like, well, she's getting it. Like, it wasn't even close.
And you, there was a moment when then Gary, when he was going over it, he was like, I felt like she was talking just to me. And Evan leaned in and he goes, it's true. I felt that way too.
Yeah, I did. I was like, whoa, if I was him, I would feel like she's talking right to me. There was something about the way that
she delivered it that was very...
She's talented at that.
Connection.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was really good.
I was so impressed. And so, but of course, the winner is Joan. And that means that they have their special alone time. And these two, they end up, having a dinner moment together. Mm-hmm. And of course, Gary's just out here with always the smoothest, most perfect compliments where he's like, I just love someone who puts themselves out there like that. It is so attractive to me. Yeah. He just is, he gives great specific compliments. I try to take note.
I bet he's really good at managing people. I bet like whatever his job is, he manages people.
Well, he was a restaurateur.
There you go. Because I bet he's really good at like not being the tough coach. He's really good at being the encouraging person that inspires the work ethic out of people.
And that's the type of person that I need to work with. Yes. He would be like my dream boss.
Yeah, he really would.
So they end up kind of start talking a little bit more about her background, how she loved being married, started dating a year after, and it was too soon. And then they really connected on that because Gary was like, yeah, you'd think, you'd hear from everybody that it seems like a year after that amount of time that you'd be ready. And he's like, I remember trying and just being like, I'm not ready yet. Yes. So they both have similar journeys in that way. And now they're both ready to date. And she also shares about how, her daughter recently had a baby. Yeah. And so she was needing to be present because of that. And she decided, though, that it was time to put herself first and
Yeah.
that she was going to go on this show. And he was so cute at one point. He was like, I forgot something very important. I need to interrupt you. And he interrupts her with a cheers, and a cheers to her that he's as excited to be with her as he's ever been with someone. So romantic.
Yeah, the thing about him that I'm starting to notice is I don't want to say scripted, but thoughtful.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
he goes in to a date with someone. He goes into an interaction with someone. Like I bet he's writing notes at night about things he thinks
people.
about them,
Yeah.
about moments that stuck out to him,
Mhm.
so that when he does have a sit down, have a drink, have a date, he's able to kind of call on those things. Because
Yeah.
it's just too like everything he says is so intentional and there's no wasted words. You know, we're used to like, so yeah, it's crazy. You know, it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, like I like that
Everything.
too. That's cool too. Yeah, whoa, crazy. I mean, like the younger people are always just kind of clearly off the cuff.
Yeah, we're
And there's-
filling space over
and
here.
there's a lot of fill in space
Yeah.
in those conversations, and you could tell they really cut it up to like make it a meaningful conversation half the time. Versus Gary, he always has these like one-liners and these moments that really bring them in and connect to them. So you
I
can
think
tell he's
intentional was the perfect word. He's very intentional.
He's very intentional.
Yeah. Well, they're very much connecting. He gives her a rose. They kiss. But then we are hit with absolute, like, sobbing watching
Yeah.
this, heartbreak. The next morning, we see Joan crying. She's on the phone with her daughter that she spoke about who just had a baby. And she said, we don't get details of what's going on, but it was a tough delivery. And so there's
Yeah,
things that they're having to work through, whatever they may be.
but it was serious enough for her
postpartum.
to like panically like, oh, I got to get out of here. I got to get back.
When we hear from her, she says, my daughter wouldn't have called me if it wasn't an emergency. But, and this was the moment you saw me, I was like starting to like cry hard, where she said, but even if it wasn't an emergency, in these times you need your mom. And she's like, I gotta go. And I was like, I pray, I would start crying right now. I'm like, I pray to be that type of parent to my kid one day, where, you know, she's been through all this grief and she's finally even communicating, where she's finally giving a moment to herself. But it's like, even if this isn't an emergency for my child and my grandkid, like, I recognize that you need your mom right now,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be there for my kid because that's my number one priority.
Yes.
And I was like,
Yeah, I mean the fact that she's in this foundational moment
yeah,
with her love life, the fact that she might meet the love of her life and her
Mm-hmm.
future husband, and you know, even there's nothing she could do, right? Like she's not a medical doctor. It's not like, oh, I'm a surgeon and I got to get back to my daughter. It was just purely based on emotional, like I want to be there for emotional support for her, make sure she's good. And it's like
yeah, or a helping hand,
helping hand or
something.
whatever. But what the point is that it's not like, and it was just that important to her to make sure that she's emotionally in there for her.
Yeah.
That it's like, wow, what an amazing woman.
And it was really a powerful moment when she walked in and sees all the women and she starts crying and she's like, I have to go.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter needs me. And Susan's crying,
Yeah.
and everyone, the grief of all the women who then were holding her and supporting her. And that hit me really hard too, because again, it's such a different dynamic that we're seeing in comparison to when we have people who are younger on the show. These group of women, from what we're aware of from cast bios and everything, mostly all are moms and also grandmas.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it was an experience they all understood.
Yeah.
And they like held her in the understanding and support, being like, knowing the feeling that you want to take care of yourself
Yeah.
and give yourself these special moments, but then also knowing what it's like to be a mom or a caretaker, a grandparent, whatnot.
Yeah.
And that always is going to come first.
Yeah. And the show hasn't shown Susan connecting with him very deeply yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say her reaction, like what I'm getting at is like, they haven't shown a lot of Susan connecting with him. Like I don't know what's going to happen with her and him. Maybe it goes far, maybe it doesn't. But she has time and time again shown that she is a stand-up individual.
Susan is magic.
When she walks in and says she's leaving. The first thing Susan said was, "Oh no, you just got a rose. Oh no, you just had a one-on-one.
Yeah.
What do you mean you got to leave? Like you're getting strong with him." And I'm like, "Wait, aren't you in the running too?" Like she was so concerned for her.
Yeah.
It's almost like she forgot that she's going after the same guy.
Yeah.
You know, like most people probably would have been like relieved, like, "Oh God."
Susan's
as much as I'm
also
sorry
the
for you,
one-
I'm glad that one more is not here. But she's just so like,
Susan's also like, she's doing everybody's hair. She's taking care, waking up, taking care. Susan is
Susan
like,
has not made one mention about like, I'm not really feeling seen. I don't really know, if he's paying attention to me. Like just rock solid.
Susan is really connecting with like all the women in the mansion. And I also feel like I'm seeing a lot of the women posting about Susan. I think everyone
Kinda
just
mama bear, for
adored
sure.
her. Yeah. Maybe a potential future bachelorette if everyone
I
was
could
just
see that.
absolutely loves Susan.
If she doesn't go through, I could totally see Susan. She's got an amazing personality for it. But then we see them sit down, and Joan has to break the news.
Yeah, Gary pulls up and he is beaming. He's got a date today.
Buzzing though.
When she tells him, she thanks him for last night, says it was one of her best nights post, her husband essentially, and that it healed her heart a lot. And then she tells him that she has to leave. His body, when she told him, we're sobbing again. His physical reaction was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was different than, it was like he was kind of taking himself into consideration a little bit, being like, holy shit, this might happen to me. You know what I mean? Like I'm actually getting hurt for the first time now.
Yeah.
And I was devastated for him mainly because I actually, especially after the poem, after the date, I go, Joan might win this thing.
I know.
Like she's
I know.
gorgeous. Mm-hmm. She's relaxed. She's wise. Mm-hmm. She's fun. She's got layers.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, this feels like big wifey material.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the fact that she had to leave, I felt really bad for him because I bet he saw in her like, this is kind of a major front runner here.
Well, and I was thinking too as well, like he just had gotten off of FaceTime the day before with Marina, who had to unexpectedly leave because she's a mom. And so I'm also wondering too, he's sitting there going,
is this going to start happening?
Is this going to be happening? But he also gets it because he's a dad with his kids and his granddaughters. And a lot of these people, have lost their spouse. So they're the only person there for their kid.
Yeah.
Like Marina was saying, she's like, I'm a single mom.
Yes.
And so I'm sure he's also processing like, oh my God, what if this continues to happen too?
Yeah.
And people, they're going to have, their children who are obviously the priority. But he then says to her, he was like, I'm so disappointed, as he's bawling.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm so disappointed. He's like, I literally woke up dancing, getting out of bed because I just had the most incredible time with you. And as they're saying goodbye, and he's like, I totally understand. Sometimes you have to make the hard decisions. And he's being so supportive. The line that he said that I was like, I'm done. Is he's like, I'm going to be there with you. He says, I'm going to be with you. Like he's Aslan. Like he's God.
Yeah.
And I had chills all over me. It was literally like this like spiritual moment of like, I'll be there with you when you go.
He has kind of a Jesus Christ energy because
he gives me an Aslan energy.
I was kind of ready for him to be like,
he's the lion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was kind of ready for him to just go like this and then just be risen into heaven.
We all need Gary, like literally, like we all need him. It was a spiritual moment. That statement, I'm going to be with you, is like there's this man is spiritually connected. It's like my energy will be with you because my thoughts will be with you when you
elevated.
Go. That hit me. And then dude, this 20-minute segment or 10-minute segment, I couldn't stop. The tears were just nonstop because then we have Joan get in the car to go away after they've said goodbye.
Yeah.
And she's talking about how she is so grateful because Gary helped heal a piece of her heart, which we've seen a lot of the women talk about, where it's like, even if I'm not going to stay with him and be with him, there's a part of him, because of him, that he's healed a part of me where I have hope moving forward. And then she says, because he's helped her with her journey, because as you get older, you become more invisible. And you feel more insignificant in the world. And I was like...
It's like he made me feel seen again.
Because you feel invisible the older you get.
Oh my God.
That was a moment where we paused the TV and we like sat and talked for like 15 minutes because it was like a reminder of it. I mean, it is so true. Like just the way in culture and society that we can, you know, with ageism and all these things, just like push aside people who are older and be like, oh, well, you know, they're older and they don't get it. And, or like, it's not fun. It's not cool, like whatever. And just prioritize youth so much instead of admiring people who have walked through life.
Yeah. It also, like, you know, these ladies have been really eye-opening when it comes to energy levels and how much joy they have and all that stuff, but they're still up against these things. And I think that, like, I've been kind of watching this going, oh my God, they're amazing, they're feeling great, but it's like, no, it's a choice. Because Joan, like, you know,
she said invisible.
Like, hey, I felt invisible. I felt like the older I've gotten, you know, I'm not seen anymore. So it's like the choice to be energetic towards the joy in your life, the choice to go after this opportunity to meet someone, like, you know what I mean? Like a really inspiring. It was like, very heavy in like a deep romance sense.
And I just, you know, wow.
Yeah.
That opened up a lot of conversation, especially, you know, as we're getting older. I was like, just turned 35, you know, it's like we all just age. And again, we've talked about this 100 times now, but like we're just the same person with just another year on. And then to know that there's people out there then who, as they're aging, start feeling that way.
Oh my God.
I don't know. It's an important conversation, I feel like, to sit with and to have conversations with the older people in your life. And, you know, I don't know. It's an important conversation to sit with separately.
Agreed.
Anywho. Question is, will Joan come back?
That is a great question I didn't think about, but I mean, if everything clears with her daughter, like in a week or something like that, I say ship her back quick.
Now the issue is it might be too late. It might be their connection might be too far behind.
It felt ahead of a lot of the others.
True.
So maybe the others caught up, but I'd be shocked if she couldn't come back in a week and then like catch up. But I think they'll bring her back unless something happens, unless it becomes something she can't come back. But if there's an option, I think they have to bring her back.
Yeah.
They have to, because they ended on a high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
If it was one thing, if like, let's say Kathy got sent home right now.
There was some drama.
It's like, okay, they like Kathy, but like Joan really had a major moment before she left.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we have the one-on-one date.
Yeah.
Michael Costello shows up and I was like, oh my God, we're going big time Golden Bachelor, like very famous designer. Holy smokes. Edith, of course, is like, knows Michael Costello's like, I'm a huge fan. I love all his dresses. Side note, Edith, we had to say goodbye to. I'm devoed.
I know.
Edith
She's a famous actress somewhere, because I just feel like
is the most stunning human being.
She just looks like she's a famous actress. It's like that you would see on the red carpets. Like she just has that energy.
The style, everything about her energy, I'm like, I can't get over her.
Yeah.
Every time she's on screen, I audibly gasp.
Yeah.
Because of whatever she's wearing with her hair and just so elegant. I can't get over it.
Elegant is a great way to put it.
I can't get over it. But the date is given to Ellen, which I'm so happy about.
No one deserves it more than her.
Ellen and even GGT at one point, he was like, you know, I feel like she hasn't gotten spoiled a lot or pampered, or he said something like that, and I want that for her. And I'm sitting here going, okay, Ellen, she got the special photo that nobody else got.
That's true.
She got this special date where you get the gorgeous dresses and the diamonds and everything. I'm like, Ellen's the sweetheart right now of the show.
It's interesting you saying that, because she's just so sweet and caring.
Yes.
And but I do sometimes wonder, you know what I mean? I'm going like, am I seeing the connection here? Am I seeing it? And I guess I kind of bring that up during the date, but he tends to just keep showering her.
Yeah, you wonder. I definitely see their connection, but he even mentions, he's like, I feel more than anyone, I feel the most comfortable to be myself around Ellen. He's like, now the question is there a romantic connection? Which I feel that, you know, he seems so comfortable around her. But he is showering her. Again, the question is production like, this is who we want our next Golden Bachelorette to be?
Yeah.
And she is so deserving, and he really feels comfortable with her, but like maybe there's not the romantic connection. But it definitely seemed like on their date that I mean, they started making out and it seemed like it sparked something. And we see a preview for the future somewhere where she's like telling him that she's falling in love with him or in love with him. And he's like, I feel the same way. So he gets there in some capacity for sure. The romantic part, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's also tough when I think about like dating, but then also dating in your 70s.
Yeah.
How much prioritizing a friendship would be huge.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like the romance thing would be important, but like you would think, well, my final days, do I want to be spent, if I have to choose between more romance versus more friend, it's like, well, I'm going to be sitting around retired, like talking to this person all day long. So I would imagine that like that romantic connection that can draw you in, you kind of realize the older you get, the more wise you have, like, you know, that friendship really has to be strong. So I would imagine with her, working on the romance side will be a focus. It'll be, if he can get up, then it'll be like a done deal. So I could see that really toying with him where he goes, maybe I got some really romantic attraction connections to these other women, but when I'm with her, I just literally relax. And so that would be a mind game.
I mean, for me personally, I'm like, I would imagine, especially when you're older, that friendship should be like the main focus. You know me.
Yeah.
I feel that way about any age in general.
Right.
I feel that way about deciding for a life partner in general. It's like, because, you know, attraction and romance can ebb and
Guys,
flow.
I'm friend zoned. Okay. She calls me pal.
Hey, buddy. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Right? It's like things can ebb and flow in life. So I feel like what's so important is to have someone that you just like love being around and love talking to and spending time with. That's like the most important part.
And I hope
in
you
a
find
long-term
that person,
relationship.
babe. I hope you find that.
Shut up. You know you're my favorite. But yes, she does. She gets the full pampering. She looks stunning in the dress that they choose for her.
She feels like
She feels like a princess. I loved to see it. And then they did the hot air balloon moment, which, by the way, the second I saw that hot air balloon, I was like, please, for their safety, for the love of God, no. They kept it tethered down.
Yes.
I felt happy about that. I was like, this doesn't feel safe to just, you already know how I feel about a hot air balloon.
I really want to do one, but I know the second I'm up there, I'm terrified.
There's no way.
I know.
You are so scared of heights.
I know.
No, you do not do.
Like it looks so romantic and incredible, and the sunsets are
basket.
But you're in a basket in a balloon, and it's just so high.
And the second the wind hits and your basket's moving, no, get out of here,
I'm
dude.
set on that.
No, I was very glad that they kept them tethered.
Yes.
But they kissed. They had some good moments. She talked a little bit about she's divorced. I think she's the first individual who have had a long conversation about the divorce. But I felt like they had a connection. So we'll see if the romance is there. Yeah, for sure. He also gives her these like gorgeous diamond earrings too. She's just getting fully pampered, and I loved it. She is just such a doll. Okay, so here's then where we end up hitting some drama. So the day of the rose ceremony, we see Theresa pulling Kathy aside, talking about how perfect her and GGT's date was and giving all of the details. We saw Theresa earlier in the kitchen at the very beginning of the episode kind of talking about that too and the connection that they had. And then we see Kathy outside with Theresa, and I believe it was Susan. I don't quite remember.
Okay.
But she's saying like, you better give me the rose, whatever. She's being playful. But then we see in her ITFs where Kathy's like, Theresa's eyes are saying you don't have a chance and I don't like it.
Yes.
And I was like, Kathy, I love you. I absolutely love you. But you can't necessarily make all of your decisions and determinations off of what you think Theresa's eyes are saying.
Yes. And because Kathy makes mention of this during the Askin podcast earlier, where she's like, and Theresa's bugging me kind of. Doesn't she say something like that?
I think, but she made a comment about feeling jealous too, I think.
Right. And so I think this is a classic moment. This is what happens to a lot of people. Like, ignore Theresa.
Yeah.
When people get insecure about their connection, I think Kathy was feeling, I felt like maybe I've had the least connection with them. I've had the least one-on-one time.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what's actually happened, but the cuts have
it doesn't look like they've had a lot of time.
Hasn't looked like there's been, that she feels like she's on the chopping block.
Yeah.
And so then you have Theresa, who's seemingly the opposite, had an incredible one-on-one, incredible, moments together.
And she's talking about it a lot.
And she's just won't quit about talking about it. And this reminded me of the Christina M.
Christina Mandrell.
From Zach's season.
Yes.
Where it's like, listen, I am all about talking about what you got going on. And again, this isn't like an anti-Theresa comment, but it's just an awareness thing.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that. But it's the like complaining or talking about what you're going through to people who are going through the same thing.
Sure.
That is like such a strange thing to me. It'd be like if I had the flu and you had the flu and I'm telling you about how awful the flu is.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I know.
It's
I
like
got
after-
the flu too.
yeah.
I'm here barfing also.
It was like Christina after having the one-on-one date, then when she didn't get the group rose date when she was complaining about it, and everyone's like, what? Like, you've already gotten a one-on-one?
It's a
and like,
little
what
bit
are
of
you?
like a lack of awareness. It's a little bit of like, it's kind of main character energy. And you know, I think certain people can stomach that better.
Yeah.
You know, certain people don't really connect with how that can be annoying. And Kathy is someone who we've seen is funny, very tuned in, and maybe a little too tuned in to what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, and Kathy is just, I also think too, this is, again, one of those moments where you're like, oh my God, just because we get older doesn't mean that these things go away.
Yes.
Where you see, it seems like to me that there is insecurity and jealousy. Like that's the person that for some reason, we all have our people, and for some reason for Kathy, it's Theresa. Theresa is making her all these insecurities coming up, even if Theresa's not doing anything intentionally, right? And so she's like, I'm reading her eyes. I can just tell by the way she's looking at me. And then we see Kathy at one point get up from the group and run away crying.
Yes.
And then she sits down with Gary and she tells Gary, hey, I've had a really hard day. There's been a lot of meanness. I've had daggers thrown at me. And I'm like, oh God, here's the thing. Maybe things were edited out. Who knows? Maybe we'll end up finding out from the social media that there were certain comments that were made that we didn't see.
Sure.
But from what we're seeing, there weren't intentional meanness and daggers thrown out. But to Kathy, it felt that way because she was feeling these insecurities and probably making assumptions because of certain jealousies that she was feeling.
I think Kathy is a hyper-aware person.
Yeah.
I think Kathy is one of those people that is like, if I was to say these things,
I would be doing it intentionally.
I would be doing it on purpose to do that to you.
Yeah, because I would be aware that this could bother someone, so I'm not going to do it.
And I don't even comprehend how you couldn't think this way.
Yeah.
Therefore, you have to be doing it on purpose. And I think that's where Kathy got it wrong.
Yes.
That's the vibe I'm getting. Because we see later that, you know, Theresa's like, what? I had no clue. And Kathy's going like, there's no way you didn't have a clue.
This is
I would have only done that intentionally.
This is two people who are just are very different fully, because I think Theresa's sweet as pie. I think there was no part of her that was doing anything intentionally. I think she's trying to connect. That's what I think is happening. I think this is her way of, she processes out loud.
Yes.
And she's like, we're all doing this together, right? And she's just connecting. And Kathy's like, if I, like exactly what you were saying, if I were to say this to somebody, I'd be doing it with intentionality to seek and destroy. So what's your deal?
And I sympathize. I think Kathy is wrong in thinking that she's mischievous about this. I also think that Theresa's wrong in the way that, like, you need to be more self-aware and realize that this isn't a good way to do it. I, though, feel like Kathy.
I know you do.
Because Kathy's got the one-liners. She's making jabs. She's being funny. Like, that's me. If I was on the show...
okay. You're like, I'm hilarious.
No, but I'm just saying... No, but I would say
know.
Kathy can err
Yeah.
on being a little too jabby. You can tell
And
that
you
Kathy,
relate to that.
Kathy has that kind of sense of humor.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
And I also can be that way.
Yeah.
And I'm also pretty really aware, like sometimes too aware of the way that I'm acting.
Yeah.
So and someone like Theresa, if I'm going through a lot and this person's
Would really
complaining
rub you the wrong
about
way.
how they haven't had as much, like have had so much, I'd be like, what is your problem?
Yeah.
So I do understand where Kathy's coming from.
But at the same time, when Kathy was sitting down with Gary, I was like, oh no, is she going to throw Theresa under the bus? I was grateful she didn't give a name. She didn't say, she avoided that. She was just like, I just want you to know that I'm really struggling. I'm going through all of this. I feel like there's been meanness in the house.
She almost did. She was like, then there's some people, I'm not going to say who.
Well, and Gary said, I want to know who.
And then she didn't.
And she was like, I'll just say maybe don't like process who you're thinking about first. Like she gave him like a hint.
Which is like, it's got to be a serious connection for him. So
yeah,
that
she
was
gave him a little bit of
the
a hint. But then, of course, Gary's just like, I was just thinking about how difficult it must be to, be so concerned about me while you're struggling. And I was like, I don't know if that was what was going on, Gary. That's why she mentioned this. I'm like, I don't think it was like out to protect you. I'm pretty sure that she was just trying to let you know how she felt. He's just so like, he just thinks the best of everybody.
He thinks everyone is just the best.
I love it. And he gave her a rose, which is pretty wild. That doesn't happen very often. We don't see that happen right before a rose ceremony where he's just like, I just want you to feel so secure. And he is just such an angel. And he's like, gives her the rose. And she comes back and she's like, I got a rose. I was like, Kathy, you did it.
Yeah,
you did it. You got that rose.
And it usually doesn't work that way.
Doesn't
we have
work.
seen in the past that if you start complaining about other people in the house, you might get the other person taken out, but you're kind of going along with them because you're kind of a negative person in their mind almost. But it didn't seem to affect him.
And we'll end up seeing if that ends up happening eventually. But for today, for this episode, she got her rose. So then she ends up having a conversation with Theresa because as soon as she gets the rose, Teresa's like, she's heard from April that, that Kathy's upset. And Theresa, so she tells Kathy, she's like, you deserved it. And so she's trying.
Yeah, she's like, I'm sorry.
And I felt for her.
Yeah, no,
and
it wasn't intentional.
Well, and then Kathy sits her down and Kathy's like, here's the thing. You can't be telling people about what a deep connection you have. And it makes me feel like you think I'm less than and her. And then Teresa's head is in her hands and she's like, oh, no. And she's like, don't you cry. Like,
don't make this about you.
And Theresa doesn't know what to do. And in that moment, I felt for Theresa because she has a sweet heart. And I think it's just, again, two people who are miscommunicating in a stressful situation.
Yes, agreed.
But then Theresa walks away and is crying and Faith is there with her. GGT, he rolls in. And now he discovers that it's Theresa. And I think you see that Theresa is just unaware of how she's interacting that hurts Kathy because she doesn't even try to hide it with Gary. She's like, they think I'm being boastful and they think I'm talking about our connection and I didn't mean to. Like she's just being honest with him. And I think if there was any game going on, there would have been a game in the way she communicated and there wasn't. And the further proof that I do not think that it is a game and that she has a sweetheart but just communicates quite differently and I believe probably should learn to just hold back, especially around certain people who are sensitive to it like Kathy, is that after her and Kathy's discussion, then they end up having the rose ceremony. And at the end of the rose ceremony, when both of the women are there, we see Theresa lean in and go, did you have a nice time though to Kathy? And Kathy's like, well, I cried most of it, but and then she kind of extended herself to Theresa where she goes, I mean, you know how he is, Theresa. Like, he's a great guy. And then Theresa goes, she's looking up at her and she goes, oh God, I know, you wouldn't believe he came to, I was bawling and he said the sweetest words to me. He came to my bedroom alone and he comforted me in my bedroom and you wouldn't believe. And I'm like, oh,
here
Theresa,
we go again.
no.
We had a moment.
And then Kathy's just like, Theresa,
she goes,
he went
in
to
your bedroom? Yeah.
And she goes, yeah. And then she's like, Theresa,
and we made love for 4 hours. She's like, no.
And she's like, Theresa, these are the things you keep to yourself. And Teresa's face, she goes, like, she did.
Oh God.
And then in the ITMs, Kathy's like, I don't know if she's just being stupid or if she's has intention in doing this. I'm like, no. Theresa just
harmless, but
is harmless.
Unaware.
It's like Theresa, and I feel like we all have had those people in our lives where you're kind of like, you're just not getting what I'm trying to communicate with you. We literally just had an argument about this. You cried about this, and now you're coming to me again.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I feel for Kathy too, where I'm like, I get the frustration, but I'm like, Kathy, girl, you just got to put up boundaries and maybe distance yourself from Theresa a little bit just to keep your
mental health
your
in check.
Your head above water in that way a little bit. And Theresa, she's not out playing games, but
I don't
Oh,
think this
man.
is the last we've seen of them.
That drama, though, was cracking
The
me
fact
up.
that she just snapped right back into doing it was
She goes, oh,
hilarious.
as she was trying to extend herself.
Yes.
She thought she was being a friend to
Yes.
Kathy because she's like, we really liked each other.
It's just a straight up, they wouldn't be friends in real life. Like, that's just a reality.
Yeah, they're
Kathy
just
would always
not-
Theresa would always be like, I don't know why Kathy doesn't like me. Kathy's like, how could you not? I don't get it, you know? So it's just one of those things that, like, in real life, they just wouldn't really probably hang because they're just so different.
They're just very different. They're very different. But that last scene made me laugh so hard where I was like, oh no. And it looks like the drama continues, by the way, which is, I like the drama, but I don't want people to get their feelings hurt because I really love everybody, but my goodness. So anywho, in between all of this, we did end up having a rose ceremony. The first rose is given to Faith. Next is Sandra, Leslie, Nancy, Susan, April, and Theresa is given the last rose. And we have to say goodbye to Christina and Edith.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Edith. But yeah, I mean, next week we got some pickleball. April looks like she got hurt. Oh no, my God, April.
Pickleball. I remember I told you this. It's like the amount of people in their 70s going to the hospital has gone up like 40 times because of pickleball.
Oh my God.
Pickleball would put me in the hospital with my knee.
I know. Well, yeah,
I'd snap
100%.
it. So it's like, dude, 70-year-old Evan?
this is not going to go well.
One step on the court and move it, I'm over. So
it's
like,
not going to go well.
it's
It's
a
not going to
dangerous
go well.
game.
But yeah, we see what looks like the continuation, like I said, of the Kathy and Theresa drama. Someone in the background says, like, I want to wring the little one's neck. And I'm like, oh no,
Theresa
everybody.
is a little one, so it might be.
I am
that-
assuming it's about Theresa.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we shall see. I can't
excited.
wait. I cannot wait. Now we're getting a little bit of the spice and
spice is
the
growing.
drama and the romance and the heartbreak.
And yeah, this is a great season.
God, I'm like so excited for each
It's
new episode
really
that comes
good.
out. Like, I get so excited when it comes on.
It's really good.
It's so good. Okay.
Next show.
Yes, it is time to hit the sand and talk the third episode of Bachelor in Paradise. Let's talk about the hot spots in this episode, I think.
Sounds amazing.
Okay. Well, one of the biggest pieces of this entire episode is Tanner arriving.
He's your worst nightmare if you're a guy down there. I mean, the guy's tall. He's a 10. He's cool. Like every guy in the ITMs when he walked down were like, shit.
All the girls were like, oh,
And the girls
no.
lost their minds. Like,
Oh, yeah.
every single girl who had a serious connection with someone was like, I will leave him in 2 seconds.
I know.
if he
I was like,
pulls
oh
me.
my God. I was actually kind of shocked. Like, I think he's a handsome guy, but I was kind
Like
of shocked by the
Olivia,
reaction.
Like obviously Kat, but Olivia, Kylie, Jess.
I mean, not all of them were like, we're going to leave.
No, but they were like,
holy
that
shit.
dude is what dreams are made of. Like it wasn't like he's a good looking guy. It was like
No.
what
Everyone
just
lost it.
walked it down.
Yeah, everybody lost it.
Everyone lost it.
Now, an interesting piece is that they right away focused it on Jess's face. And Jess was a smitten kitten. And we end up finding out that Tanner was like the guy, her like number one guy that she came down for.
Yes.
And we end up seeing that Kat, you know, he pulls Jess aside, he pulls Kat
And
aside.
they're like besties.
They're besties. And Jess later is talking about how Kat knows that Tanner's her number one and that Kat didn't pull her aside, didn't bat an eye. And that to me, I'll talk later about what went down between Kat and Brayden, but that to me as a viewer, if I was on the sand and my bestie on the sand did that, we'd have some problems. I'd be like, and it's interesting because Jess is typically so non-confrontational.
Yes.
It was very interesting to see Jess later in the episode sit Kat down and be like, no, you're wrong in this.
Stop
you hurt
interrupting
him.
me.
You need to
Yeah.
stop interrupting. And she in the ITMs was throwing some shade. I love to see it because we don't ever get it from Jess.
I
Jess is
know.
normally just like, I don't know. And it was like, oh, you bothered Jess here because Jess was being a friend to you.
Like when I found out that they were like besties, I'm kind of like, what? Jess seems so sweet and nice. And I'm like, what? Maybe that's a part of it. Maybe Kat feels like she can walk all over her or something. I don't know what it is.
Kat's good friends with a lot of people that I like in this franchise. And I'll be real with you. So far from what I've seen on screen over the past just 2 seasons, I don't love it.
Brooklyn is looking more and more right. That's for sure.
Listen, you know what? I know that we get production and you can't read everything. And maybe I'm so wrong. So sorry, Kat, if I am. But so far from what I've seen, I'm just always...
It's a tough look.
Quite confused. But Tanner, again, pulls both of the women aside. I was cracking up, by the way, that when Tanner pulled Jess aside, she was just like... He's like, I like your bathing suit. And she's like, thanks, I chose a one piece because I was bloated. And then... when Tyler Norris comes down later,
it was copy paste.
I think that was editing. I think it was a Frankenbite.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys know, but she's bloated right now.
I mean,
that's
she's
why she has a one piece. I also
her and Sam are struggling maybe with the bathroom situation.
Yeah, I was dying because it was such a funny thing to say. It was almost like she was like, I would never wear a one piece, just so you know.
I don't know what,
but just so you know, I'm also bloated. Like it was also a funny thing to like say. It's your first thing you say to someone.
It's that nervous
nice to meet
TMI.
You. I'm bloated. It's not quite the opening line that we all,
just such a typical, like when you don't know what to say because you're super nervous. You know, she was super nervous around Tanner because she really like thinks he's a hottie.
It's like you're nervous. It's like an Always Sunny skit or something. It's just like, oh, how you been? Oh, shitting a lot lately. You're like,
no.
You're like, oh, I hope I don't eat this cheese because I'm gonna have bad diarrhea later. Anyway, what's your favorite color? And it's like, oh, I don't think I want to picture that right now. You know?
Oh, it was killing me. But he pulls Jess aside, pulls Kat aside. Now, as he has Kat pulled aside, we see Brayden. Brayden is literally planning a date.
Brutal.
Planning a date.
He should have been digging his own grave instead of planning a date. Like, he should have been out there with a shovel going like this.
Like, straight up, because
But he was so ignorant.
He was just
to think that, like, when he saw her react, he should have known, like, that reaction was no joke.
And he literally
last thing I should be doing is...
He heard her at the bonfire say that she's there for Tanner or Tyler. Those are the two that she's interested in. And Tanner's there. And he's like, you know what? I just feel like Kat really deserves to get spoiled. And I'm going to plan a date for her. And he's like, even if Tanner takes her, you know, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm just going to plan a date for her. I'm like, oh God, here we go. This is again, it's Logan Kate 2.0.
You start to lose reality. You start to lose touch.
Yeah, you're like, Brayden.
You're done, buddy.
You're done. Like, she doesn't.
You're a rose holder.
It's the rose holder. You're the cruise boyfriend. You're the vacay boyfriend. You're not
the husband comes around.
Yeah, and Tanner is who she's got her eyeballs on.
I felt really bad for him.
I know. You know, I normally have opinions with Brayden.
I know.
I felt for him on
it
this
was
one.
brutal.
It was bad.
He had been cut down to a sad boy. She had absolutely destroyed his confidence.
Now, Tanner ends up choosing Kat and asks her to go. Oh, also, by the way, in Tanner and Kat's conversation, I keep forgetting about the Brayden dynamic. Tanner and Brayden did not like each other. So that's interesting too.
You're right.
And Tanner's asking about
like, so
Brayden. He's like, so you're with Brayden? Which to him
Brayden?
probably is a little bit of a red flag where he's like, why are you with Brayden?
Well, she threw a dig.
Well, she goes, well, you know, he's kind of just like, she says, little golden retriever. She uses the word little, which is just not probably what Brayden would want to hear if referred to as a little golden retriever.
But to plunge it even further, she goes, yeah, I was concerned about the maturity level.
Oh, I don't know. I think I caught that.
Yeah. And I was like, that's even worse. Because it's just like, you thought he was like immature. And now you're like talking shit within 5 minutes. Because this was not during the date. This was during
when
just
they
the
were
chat.
having the chat.
I was like, you're already throwing him under the bus immediately without even being on the date.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not great. So then,
like, at least Jess was just like, yeah, I found a really great connection with Blake. And it's been really, really good. But, you know, I'm definitely still open to something. Like, but it wasn't like this like animal boy. He's out there playing Crocodile Dundee. You know, like that's what Kat would have done.
Totally. Well, Tanner ends up giving his date card to Kat.
And before he's like, and I want to know if, and she's like, yes.
Oh,
like she was up getting ready before he even asked.
Everyone commented how quickly Kat was like, yeah, I'll go on it.
She kicked Brayden off the steps and Brayden went flying into the beach, like just to get him out of the way. Like that she might as well have done that.
Well, she ended up physically doing that at one point because she accepts it. She walks off with Tanner to go get changed. comes back with the outfit change on. Brayden looks at her and he goes, oh, you look so pretty. And she ignores
him. Over him.
She talks to everybody on the day, but then when Tanner comes back, she physically steps over Brayden
and won't look at him.
Say goodbye.
Won't even look at him.
My God. It was rough. And listen.
Won't talk to Jess.
Doesn't talk to Jess, which to me is my number one issue because the friendship comes first. Because it's like, I understand how the beach can be and how you're like, okay, it looks like the connections are way deeper and it's only been a couple days. But like the friendship piece is what really gets me.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. You can say what you want about Brayden. You know, we've had all sorts of opinions about Brayden. I do have to give Brayden a shout out. Through this entire episode, I felt like he handled himself so well.
Perfectly. He could have absolutely gone off the rails, and he didn't. He kept his cool the whole time.
When they had their discussion later, which we'll talk about, all of this, but even in that moment, like even in the moment when she walked up and she was all glammed about to go out, the fact that he didn't ice her, the fact that he didn't make some side comment about how they haven't talked, he literally was like, you look so beautiful. Like, I felt like he handled himself as best he could in the situation.
Kicked dirt in his face, basically. It was brutal.
Well, she has the date with Tanner. They are riding horses to the beach.
It's fireworks right away for her, especially.
Yeah, they're apparently like very much into each other.
I got the sense he liked her a lot, but I got the sense that she was infatuated with him.
Agreed.
I got the fact that he was trying to take it slow and she was trying to speed it up. Like she was jumping on him and making out 400 times and he was like loving it, but I didn't get the sense that he was like enamored.
This is why I think it might be a Logan and Kate 2.0 situation. I could see her. She like ended everything with Brayden, right? And is like all in on Tanner. I could see someone coming down and Tanner going on a date. And then all of a sudden Kat backtracking and being like, Brayden, let's talk again.
Yeah.
Just like how I feel like Kate did at some point and backtracked and went back to Logan. I see the same potential happening because I agree with you. I feel like Tanner likes her, but I don't know if Tanner's like, this is my girl.
No, because he even said like, oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to meeting Kat. She's really beautiful. It wasn't like, oh my God, Kat seems like an amazing person. That was not seeming to be like the...
And also, he's then going to be seeing... What he's seeing now on the sand is the drama with Kat and Brayden, and it looks like it's getting explosive. And we see him off to the side by the bar with, I think it's Sean, and he's like and he goes, oh geez, what's going on? And Sean's like, buddy, like it's not your fault, don't worry about it. And Tanner is kind of like, what did I just step into? I didn't know this was gonna be this type of situation.
Side note, Sean, the last thing he's focusing on right now is his own connection with Rachel. He literally is just like, whatever, what is everybody else doing? Because he's in you ever notice every conversation Sean's a part of.
He's the governor. He's the mayor of Paradise, 100%. He's governing the sand.
He's the self-proclaimed mayor.
Yeah,
no one wants him to be mayor.
No one's voted him in, but he
created himself a rule, like a role.
Himself a role. He elected himself, and now
he's just so excited to be a part of it. Like that's his thing. He's just
there are so many comments with Sean throughout the episode. One at the very top of the episode where he was like, "Everyone tells me how good I smell." And they're trolling him, and they do the little...
He does not, in fact, smell that good kind of thing.
Which I'm like, you are trolling this man.
The producers are so annoyed with him.
If they're doing that, they're annoyed with the guy. You know, he probably just, like, who knows
like him,
what
but
he
was
like.
Cringe as fuck. Like, he really is.
Sean is just... And him, then, just the clips you randomly see of him, where he's just, like... talking to Rachel, and you just hear him go, yeah, I was very blonde through my childhood. And you're like, what is this guy talking about? Like,
that he is the epitome of a rich kid, because those comments where you're just kind of going on and on about you, like
I smell so good,
boring
my hair used
comments
to be
about
blonde.
How great you are is like such a like out of touch kid vibe. You know, it's crazy. I used to be blonde. You're like, what, dude?
I'm like, is this what we're talking about?
How about you ask a question about me? Like, you could go to dinner with him for 3 hours and he would learn nothing about you. Like, you might as well just be the wall.
And then he would tell you how in love he is with you because you didn't talk the entire time.
What a great guy Evan is, because he doesn't ask me, because he doesn't make me ask him questions. It's like, that's his, like, there's no question about it.
But I do have to say this too, on the Tanner and Kat date, when she is like clearly like, oh my God, he's my husband. He was like, I really appreciate you being here because I know you were scared of horses, and the fact that you like worked through that fear to be with me. And Kat was like, yeah, I didn't know if I wanted to say anything, but I was just like, oh my God, I really want to go on the date with him, but I am scared of horses. And I'm sitting here going, add it to the list, dude.
She's
like
scared of everything.
And I mean,
what does her life look
and no
like?
shade, because you know me, I am also scared of everything, but it
Not
just
like that.
makes me laugh that like she chooses to go to paradise. She's scared of sand, sea creatures, crabs, bugs, also scared of horses.
But that
like,
limelight.
She's scared of everything except high-end champagne and high-end hotel rooms.
And hot guys.
And a hot man. And Hannah Brown, apparently, who she's willing to sacrifice on the altar, her whatever man she is with. Which, by the way, if she would have been with Tanner when Hannah Brown came down, she would not have been willing to sacrifice him.
She would have been tweaked.
Well, while she's gone, everyone's having these conversations. Braden's talking with the boys. Jess and Kylie are talking. And Kylie, too, another person who we don't normally see getting involved in any sort of drama. And Kylie's like, no.
This is
like, this
messed up.
is not cool. Like, this is not nice. We all know that Jess was super into Tanner and you didn't say a word.
Blake said something too. Blake's like, not a good look to not talk to Braden or Jess about this at all. Like, he made mention, like, this is pretty shady.
I think everybody on the beach was pretty aware of the dynamic.
Yeah.
Obviously, numerous things happen in between. We'll go back to that. Let's stick with Kat and Braden for a moment.
Yeah.
So Kat and Tanner come back from their date. We even see Sean, who hated Braden, say, I feel really bad for Braden.
Yeah.
The caption underneath was like, should be worried about his own relationship.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're all thinking.
That was classic, but apparently Sean likes Braden. Now, it seems like everybody's getting along on the beach. Even the whole Pilot Pete thing, we didn't get any drama from that this episode.
Not this episode. I'm sure more will come.
We'll see. But she gets back. Kat pulls Braden aside.
Yes.
She is business with him. It is a 180 from how she had been with him before, where they were having baby talk and being all over each other, right?
And it was just a walking paper. So it was like she was a boss and she was firing an employee who she's never met before. Great to see you, Braden. Thanks for coming in today.
Yep.
We're gonna have to let you go. The company's making cutbacks. Here's your severance package. Nice to meet you. And he's like, what?
Oh, he didn't even have the ability to like bat an eye. It all just happened so fast. And she lets him know. She was like, listen, I know that you and I aren't going to work out because I'll be real with you. The second I left the beach, I never thought about you again.
Yeah. She's like, I'm going to be like, watch me. I'm going to be so nice. The way your face looks makes me mad. And the way that you breathe makes me want to scream. But I said it in like a nice tone, so it's okay. Like, she was literally like, I didn't think about you once. All I could think about was him. As I was making out with him, I thought about your kisses and it made me want to vomit. Like, it was literally like, if you say it in a calm tone, you can say the meanest shit to someone.
She just rips the Band-Aid off so fast. And she's just like, yeah, I just don't see this connection going anywhere at all. So bye. And Braden
is just confused.
Stays quite calm.
Really calm.
And he's like, can I ask what changed? And she was like, I was just listening to my feelings and when I was on this date and I didn't think about you at all. So like, that's just how it's going to land.
The annoyance started the second he had one question.
The annoyance hit so fast.
Her patience was like, I'm good for 3 sentences of explaining myself to you. But if you have not only a problem, but a question, I'm going to start getting annoyed as shit.
She was so... Now, maybe it was production and maybe it was a really long conversation and they edited it. But from what we saw, he literally asked one question.
And it was literally like, can you just explain to me why you're breaking up with me? And it was like, oh my God.
And then he just says, I'm not going to beg anybody to want me.
Yeah.
And he didn't say anything shady to her. He wasn't like, oh, you're being this way.
No.
And she was just like, okay, we're good. Okay. And she acts so exhausted.
So annoyed.
And gets up so quickly. And it's like, I'm going to go freshen up. And he is just like, oh my God. He's like, she was so warm to me one second and cold as ice the next. Like,
and they had known each other for 3-4 days.
Yeah.
And one thing she said to him that I thought was like really intense, she goes, it was just really nice to have someone new come down. And I'm like, you've known him for 3 days.
So there was a moment, which I don't know if people were talking about this, that I got fixated on.
Yeah.
While we then see Brayden leave this conversation and go have his bro time processing everything, right? We then see Kat. We keep getting flashes of Kat sitting at the bar. She is talking to Blake, who is her bestie's current connection.
Yes.
She is telling Blake, it was just so nice to leave this space for a minute and just have something new, like what you're talking about, and just be in a new environment and be around something fresh. It was just so nice. And she laughs and she goes, maybe you'll experience that. Big smile. And I'm sitting here going like, so are you encouraging your bestie's romantic connection that like, maybe you'll experience that with, I'm like, what was that about? And that made me feel, and maybe again, it was the way that it was edited, but I couldn't I'm like, if I saw a clip of my girl talking to my guy,
hoping that my guy will get a date with someone else,
being like, we're having a moment of connection right now, and I'm letting you know, hey, maybe you're gonna get a date with someone else. You'll know what it feels like to like be relieved to get off the sand. That's what it felt like. Real connection and then Jess walks up and she's laughing and talking to Jess, and I'm like, bro,
you can't trust this girl, bro.
I'm like, if I was Jess, out of everything that I experienced on the sand, if I was watching at home right now and I saw that would have made me the most mad. That would have been like, I'm making a call and we're having a confrontation, because that would be what really upset me. So in the meantime, we have Blake broing it out with the boys, him thinking, oh my God, maybe she just wanted to use me for a rose. And everyone's like, maybe.
Yeah, no.
Perhaps. That seems like it's probably what it was. And then the girls pull Kat aside and are confronting Kat about,
because she's laughing, and that's how it starts. Like she's laughing at the bar, and Kylie's like, "Hey, can you have a little sensitivity?"
And obviously, then too, Kylie and Jess are sensitive because of what Jess is experiencing, and it's like, are you not aware of like what's going on? So when they pull Kat aside, they're trying to communicate with her that like it's not a good look.
And also, Kylie just went through this, and she did it gracefully.
Yes.
So it's like,
and they're also like, I'm sure they're like literally slipping her notes so that the production can't see it, being like, remember, this is on television. Like
you're 3 feet from Brayden laughing about how funny this is.
You're going to get a villain edit like that. We're all friends. We're trying to look out for you right now. You need to like go be nice and say certain things and try to mend bridges, because you're about to get a horrible edit. So like, it's like, Kat, hello, like, remember, we're being filmed. Like, that's what it felt like to me a little bit too. But Kat just was not having it, man.
When Kylie and Jess go, hey, can we, like, you should be more, have a little bit more decorum regarding this. And she goes, what are you talking about?
She goes, what the fuck? Let's discuss this right now.
And she goes, now. She like tells them, like, sit down now. And it was like, geez, you can't talk to your, like, if my friend talked to me like that, I'd be like, no.
We're not friends.
So she just sit down now. And she's like, what is going on? And it's like, dude, like,
no, it was like, hey, like, it was rough. And the girls in the ITMs are doing the whole, we love her, but this is very much how she can be. Yeah. And Jess even brought up, like, you saw her on Zach's season.
Yeah, like, we all know who she is.
So, and Jess is sharing Brayden's point of view. She goes, Kat, he didn't know that you had reservations, so you have to be gracious. He didn't know that you were having these processes. And then Kat goes, I told him just now. You're like, okay, you have to have empathy to understand that, like, you might have been processing this for the past 48 hours, let's say, but you didn't communicate that with him, so you can't be frustrated at him.
You just waited until you had a secure connection with Tanner to not burn the bridge.
Exactly. So Kat is now like,
furious.
Brayden, you're making me look bad on this beach. And she is pulling him aside. And it basically is just like, I have been open and honest with my emotions. How dare you? And she is not having it, man. She is not having it. She's an ITM. She's like, I have dealt with this bullshit when I was 21 and now I am 27 almost, and we are not doing this.
Well, my favorite thing too is in the ITMs, she's saying, I have been communicative, open, and honest, and I couldn't have done a better job, right? I did, didn't I?
Yeah, she kept saying,
Like she goes,
right?
in my opinion, I was so nice to him. I think. Like she was like, I don't even know what nice is. So maybe you producers could tell me if I was being nice or not. Like
I think what was happening is those little side moments. That was knowing you're on television for the edit to include that, because it's a little bit like,
wait a second.
when you've been on the show before, you know how you can get edited, and then all of a sudden when you have something like a reactive statement and they use that. So she would be like, I have been open and honest. It's like, okay, but I got to add, I think. Because it's a little bit like, well,
she's like, I've done some media training and they said I shouldn't say these things definitively.
Yeah. So it's like, in my opinion,
Yeah.
I was really gracious to him. So I felt like she was adding that
and then she was
in
going,
a PR way.
You know, she was going back and forth on her statements too. So she goes, I've been open and honest and straightforward with you this whole way about how I felt. And then he goes, I mean, this morning you didn't say anything about how you didn't want to be with me and everything was totally fine. And then you come back. And she goes, well, what am I supposed to do? Tell you that I'm having doubts and then a connection with Tanner doesn't work out? And it was like, oh, you just literally exposed yourself.
Yeah.
Like he's looking at me, he's looking at himself going, wait a second. You never told me anything. You telling me you told me everything. Then when I push you on it, you go, well, what was I supposed to do? Tell you? And then she just goes into, Braden, you're argumentative.
Oh, well, that
And I
was wild.
like,
when she goes, no. So, okay, so I'll say this. Braden stayed calm, cool, and collected the entire time.
Dude,
he was
how
a little
he
bit
didn't
like,
flip is
he was a little bit
crazy.
like, you can't tell me how to feel. And I just had some questions and I wasn't going and trying to talk shit on you. Like, I'm just talking to my friends. I'm processing this. Da, 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 da. You have to understand how, from my perspective. And he was being chill. The one comment where he's like, you made me feel like a dirty whore. I was like, okay, Braden, let's not use that as like, let's
Just
not. It's
thing to
that's just
say.
inappropriate. That is not, do not. But he was in tone and energy staying very calm, right? And he and also I have to say it too, not interrupting her. He was letting her speak and then he'd wait, but he was being so chill. And then she said, Braden, I feel like you are so confrontational right now and so argumentative. I was like, okay. I mean, and you kind of saw him just kind of give up, where it was like, whatever, like, okay, fine. And she stormed
because
off.
I think he was more heartbroken than mad.
I agree. I think he
genuinely liked her a lot. And I think it was more, he felt betrayed and sad.
Yeah.
Less like, I have to win this argument, which is a real sign that you care about someone.
I wasn't getting from him, I'm on TV and I need to do the right thing. I was getting from him broken.
Just sad.
Just like literally a broken, sad
I don't think
man.
I've ever seen anyone. You are like, I look out for number one and number one only, and nothing else matters to that. It's like,
Yeah, 'cause
and she
again-
didn't even, you could tell she didn't even get it. It was like, she was just mad that she was having to waste breath on him.
That's what it felt like. And it was with the combination of the friend piece, Jess, the way she acted when the friends pulled her aside, and then this whole Braden thing. I was like, this is not a good look, my friend. This is not a good look. You were cruising on Paradise and you had kind of had somewhat of a villainous edit or whatever, villainous actions on Zach's season. And I thought maybe it was going to shift on this one. And we are not. It is not a good look.
I would
It
have
is
these
not a
moments
good
that I
look.
forgot that she broke up with him. Like I would be like, oh, this feels a little bit more like if you were really pissed that you got broken up with.
Totally.
Crazy.
So I don't know how that's gonna go. I also, like
There's
I
no
said
way
too,
it gets repaired unless she comes back to him and he gets like, confused.
yeah, I'm just wondering how it's gonna end with the friend dynamic too, and how the girls are feeling towards her, and also if Tanner takes someone
Start
else
seeing
out on
this
a
and go,
date,
"Ooh,
or
yeah.
if Tanner takes someone else on a date.
That'll be the ultimate.
I feel like people aren't gonna feel empathy if she's upset, and then that
Exactly.
might upset her. Yikes.
Yes.
Well, the other heartbreak that was going on the beach is this. Tyler Norris shows up, which we immediately find out that Rachel is like, oh my God, I'd be down to try out dating him. And I'm like, what? I was feeling giddy. I was getting excited. I'm like, is this the reunion? Even Braden was like, oh my God, like, this might be so cute, and them uniting, and Sean sitting there like, thanks, bud.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, you just shut up, Braden, with the commentary. Like, it would be so romantic if they ended up dating. It's just like, you're not helping yourself
Braden's
right now,
like,
Braden.
someone else be in my pain.
No, for real.
Join me.
Join me. But they had a cute conversation, and I thought that he was going to actually take Rachel out on the date.
Well, Sean is an expert in body language. I don't know if you know this. He goes, I actually pride myself in reading body language.
And he says, I think it's going pretty well. And you're like, no shit. They're like bowling over, laughing, smiling, and everyone, Mercedes was killing me. She was like, oh, you're an expert, huh? Like dying laughing.
Dude.
Everyone's like, oh my gosh.
He's so cringe.
Now all of a sudden oh my God. Okay, so in After the Final Rose and original previews, it looked like Brayden and Rachel were going out on a date.
Oh,
remember that?
Yeah.
So that's
the
to
little
come.
Secret. Well, I cannot wait for that.
Oh my God, is Sean gonna freak out because we've now seen Sean say that he's like, I actually like Brayden now. Oh, is this the explosion that's gonna happen?
I love it. I hope so.
I didn't even remember that.
I see Brayden and Rachel.
I know you've been saying
that's
that.
That's a vibe to me. I see them together.
I don't.
Sean's just like.
But you were saying that you don't think that they would. You think that Brayden and Rachel would be explosive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I do think it'll be. But I think anything those two do, I kind of feel like there's just going to be like ups and downs.
Yeah.
Something about it. But yeah, them together, I feel like. But I do like the idea of them like connecting.
Yeah, I kind of do now too.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So Tyler also then pulls aside Jess.
Yep.
And Blake's starting to sweat because all these
like
guys
2
are
for 2.
coming down and pulling down the ladies. And then we also see him pull aside Mercedes. Right before he pulls aside Mercedes and Will have this little moment of like declaring that, or specifically Will is like, I'm
Will.
all in, I'm here. Which, by the way, Blake and Jess are sitting 2 inches behind them and kind of just staring and having to listen to him have this like declaration talk. They're just kind of like, hello.
They make it clear it was the night before. The night before was the night that they connected over him crying and everything. So this is morning after. And the show's like, we must have Will suffer more.
I mean, this poor guy.
We feed on his sorrow.
They had Will go through it with Pizza Peter, who is like the absolute hellish nightmare of the show. And now he's having to go through this. And Tyler pulls Mercedes. And all of a sudden, it's all making sense now too. Where Mercedes is like, Tyler, our besties, Avon and Kylie. Well, you know that they're connected.
Yes.
Now what about us?
Already
and that all makes
there.
sense. Of course, it's a
like
huge draw.
If you could date your best friend's friend, I mean, it's like
it's like
huge.
Tyler,
already, you're
Avon,
already 50% there.
Besties, Kylie, Mercedes, besties.
Double date trips,
God,
dinners,
what a
everything.
hot crew.
That's
you know what I mean?
Crew.
That is a hot crew.
You're like, who are these people? They
That
walk
is
into a restaurant, you're like, what?
That is an attractive crew.
Yeah.
And they all seem on top of it all 4 of them seem like great people.
Agreed.
And so I'm hurting for Will, but I
Will's
love.
like, can I come in?
I love Tyler. So watching
Tyler
this.
he's like an awesome guy. We like met him quickly and seemed like a really, really great guy. And on the beach so far, really nice. Like, and Mercedes is about as nice as it gets.
Just a charming,
they
beautiful
hit it
woman.
off in that conversation, and
so he ends up pulling Mercedes. Will's devastated.
here come the eye bags again. They just start developing in the moment.
He can barely recover,
and he just got over like crying all day yesterday. So now he's back in sorrow land, and it's like brutal.
And I'll say this. I noticed, this episode, like Mercedes didn't pull Will aside before. Kat didn't pull Brayden aside before. A few of those. And I'm like, maybe production doesn't allow them to pull them aside before sometimes. So I do want to then be aware of that. With the Will thing, when we were giving Will a hard time for not pulling Olivia aside before, we know he didn't pull her aside before because that was a conversation. Yeah. Maybe Mercedes or Kat also pulled the boys aside before too.
Maybe, but it was also a thing though. Everyone talked about how she didn't pull him. No one said that about Mercedes, I don't think.
That's what I'm saying. I have a feeling that maybe Mercedes did pull Will aside
But even
before.
if she didn't, I give her, they had been connected for 4 hours.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like the night before, so like an hour and a half of hanging out, and then an hour and a half in the morning. So
no, but
3
what I'm
hours
saying
they
is
had
we
been
were talking
connected.
though about how the Olivia and Will piece was like he didn't talk to her before,
Right.
and they had just had a few hours.
Right.
Really.
That's true.
But what I'm saying is we heard specifically that Will did not pull Olivia aside, and we didn't hear that Mercedes didn't pull Will aside. So my theory is that she did pull Will aside before, and we weren't shown that.
Either way,
that's my theory.
Either way, I forgive her because they had only been a couple hours, and he didn't like pursue her. She went over and was kind of like at the end of the day, she had to kind of really go like, how much of a connection do we have? Because I just was a crying shoulder for him, and he was just so relieved to be cared for that. Like, it's so, they haven't even had like a long conversation yet.
We were talking about how much we loved Will and Mercedes' moment together.
Yes.
And so, I was feeling for Will, but I have to tell you, I guess my emotions are all over the place because when I saw then Mercedes and Tyler together, I was kind of obsessing over that. And what I've realized I'm obsessing over is I just want whatever is best for Mercedes because I love her.
Agreed. And she deserves to be pursued. And
she
Tyler
does.
coming down and going right for her, I think that she deserves that.
She does.
And so
we want everything
Will
from Mercedes.
getting left behind possibly is like a tough thing, but I'm also like, Mercedes deserves to have someone like come down for her.
100%.
As opposed to be like a sad shoulder to cry on, maybe we have a connection.
That's very true. That's very true. And Tyler, when she asks Tyler, like, why are you back on the sand? And Tyler goes, well, I heard you were coming. And I was like, that's the line. That's the line. And then they were talking about, they had that ridiculous CGI shooting star that they like edited in. Obviously, they saw one IRL. And Tyler saying, what wish did you make? I was like, well, that's the cutest shit I've ever heard in my life. And she then the entire time too had been like, I believe in signs. And Tyler was giving me that energy too. Like, they seem like two peas in a pod.
They're like hot, quirky people.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
They're both just so adorable, so sweet, so hot, so wonderful. And they're both just very much, what did you wish on that shooting star energy? They both have that.
Starry-eyed. Yeah.
I also always forget too that like Tyler owns like a game on the boardwalk in New Jersey. Like that's his job, which is like, I'm obsessed.
Yeah,
I mean, and I can just
amazing.
see, and she like does the pig events. You're just like, I don't know,
fun.
man. They're fun. And they were making out.
Fireworks.
They had some intense fireworks. They were macking the whole time. And then even before they entered the sand again, they were making out.
Strong connection.
Very strong. Now, what I do like that Mercedes did a lot, just love her, but she came down, pulled Will aside. When they first walked down, it was so awkward. Everyone was just sitting there.
Yeah, that was where they walked and they're just like, hi. And they're like, hey. And they're like, well, thanks for asking. We had a good time. Like, no one asked. Everybody's
and then
just kind of like.
eventually Avon got up and he's like, yeah, it's my man. What's going on? Like,
everyone
love
was
you.
definitely like wasted probably from filming. And everyone's like, they're keeping us up.
Done. But then she pulled Will aside. And I feel like what she said to him was, I think she did the good move.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, hey, just FYI, I really do like you, but I did have a great time with Tyler. And I just need to think about it. And I love that.
First person to do this. Everyone else was like, bye. And it's like,
no,
take a moment.
It's
breathe.
like, it's what she did, what everybody should be doing, where it's like, hey, I'm not going to tell anybody.
Don't burn a bridge.
I'm not going to tell anybody right now that I'm all sold out for you. This is the beach. This is paradise where you date. I had a great time with you. I had a great time with Tyler. I'm going to sit and think about it and we'll talk about it later. Guess what I'm doing? I'm dating.
Yes.
I'm dating people, but I'm also then not going to be like ruthless and be like, well, I just never even really liked you anyway. Bye. It's like, no, I'm just going to give it a beat.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about it for a second. I thought that was the best.
Very wise.
Best move.
Very wise.
So we'll see what comes of that. I mean, I'm definitely assuming Will's gone. God bless. The women have the rose this week.
And there's just no one for him.
I just feel like he's probably going to be gone, and poor guy is
There's
just
beef
apps.
with Olivia.
By
Kylie
the way,
doesn't like
he'll
him
be
anymore.
back. Will will be back.
I hope
if
so.
If Will gets cut, which I'm sure he will next episode, Will come back to Paradise next year. He's that guy.
He's perfect for it.
He's perfect for Paradise.
But he's been brutalized.
But he's going to come back and they're going to be like, we're going to find Will love this time. And then it'll happen again.
Yes.
Yep. That's what it is. Other than that, the other huge storyline that we had going on was
the poop.
A poop baby.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to say this first and foremost. My heart extends to Sam because I, as we have discussed, have had a similar situation where I didn't poop for 10-ish plus days. And it is so uncomfortable.
I poop 3 times a day. So like I
know. I just
can't
found out that recently. And
I can't imagine.
It blows my mind. I
not
poop maybe
pooping for 9 days,
I
bro.
sometimes poop every day, pretty much every other day. And that's the best I've ever been. The past few years of my life, it's been incredible that I'm going like every other day. Every day blows my mind. I used to go once every like 4 days.
But the idea of being plugged up for 9 days, you must feel like just walking poo because it's just
you're just cramping
through
all
you.
day. You're so uncomfortable. And so my heart is extending to her because like you can't think about anything else when you have been constipated for that long.
Wait, well, you saw the scene she missed? She missed like every major moment because she was in the bathroom the whole time?
And yeah, she's missed guys.
Pushing for her dear
all
life.
potential dates.
Oh
all
my
the
God.
guys. Hey, Aaron got her clogged on purpose so that she couldn't date anybody
Yeah,
else.
yeah. Smart. Just gave her some sort of like backup medicine that like stops her. Just,
She's like, nope.
that's funny. I never thought about that.
But a doctor apparently comes down, which at first he came down, I was like, he's cute. I'm like, is he going to be on the sand? Is she
Yeah.
going to start like, are they going to start flirting with each other? And then this man starts saying all these things where I'm like, there's no way he's a doctor. I mean, this man is referring to it as a poo baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we had seen clips before, I thought the reason he referred to it as a poo baby, because I'm like, he's a doctor, is probably because she referred to it as a poo baby first, and then he started calling it a poo baby.
The technical term is poo baby.
He coined the term poo baby.
Yeah.
And also was talking about delivering the poo baby.
Yeah.
And in the ITMs was like, I've seen a 16-incher. I'm like, my God.
You might have to do a C-section, you know?
Yeah, and I'm like, what is going on? And then he's just like, well, sometimes digital stimulation. I'm like, who is this man? Like, can we not?
Oh, was he talking about like, what does that mean?
Well, you
like
gotta-
touching yourself?
Well, you got to like put a finger up your butt.
Oh, right.
It's like a hand enema.
Sure. God.
But her face was like, it was like horrified. Like, can we not? You're talking about delivering my poo baby. Like, and then the show has a countdown, a clock. And my heart, I was like,
I know.
Sam, I like, she just seems like just a lovely,
I'm really
beautiful
glad that
woman.
she had a connection with Aaron, because could you imagine being single and going through that too? Like, at least you're in love. Your whole storyline is just poo.
I just am like, this girl, like,
I
not
know.
only is she literally dealing with something that is so uncomfortable and scary when the doctor tells you, like, I might have to do surgery on your poo baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what she expected. That then has to now watch this, and half of the damn episode is about you pooping. I'd be furious. I'd be
Brutal.
furious. She had such a great attitude about it and would like laugh about it. But my goodness. And then Olivia's ITMs were making me laugh.
Yeah, she's
so
the funnest
hard.
one there by far.
Because she was being so sweet, where she was like, Sam, I don't want Sam to go. I love her so much.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for her. But like, she goes, who is this doctor
Yeah.
that's talking about a poo baby? Like, she was
Unbelievable.
asking the questions that all of us were just like, this man is an actor. He was, if you watch Where the World Turns or
Yeah.
whatever, he was, episode 150 and 175.
Yeah, exactly.
He
Well, the one
showed
thing
up.
I will say is that we see, for the first time in my opinion, Aaron in a really great light.
I know. Evan looked at me and he goes, I kind of feel bad for talking shit sometimes, because he's like, I kind of like this side
I
of Aaron.
love this side of Aaron. He's like sweet and kind and understanding. And he was supportive, and he got her more food. I don't know if that was the right move, just because I felt like he stacked more on top. You know what I
she
mean?
started getting sick.
Yeah,
She was like, I'm
so it's
sweating.
like, yeah,
And
you
I'm
just
like,
pushed it
oh,
over the edge. Now the
God.
poo's coming out of her eyes. It's like, how about just don't give her more food? You know what I mean? How about we just give her like coffee only? And he just got stacked burritos on top of it. Like, I was like, oh God, I'd be vomiting. But he was very caring, very understanding. He is a paramedic.
Yeah, or
And
firefighter. or
firefighter,
something.
paramedic.
Yeah.
So that would be very I feel like you'd love to date a paramedic, because you always think that there's something wrong. So I do feel like that would be probably very calming to you, knowing that
I've
like
literally
that person.
told you before, like, nothing is hotter to me than a paramedic
Right.
normally.
So, and just because of,
it's because I'd have all my
you
answers.
have all your answers, and I'm
Yeah.
looking at you going like, I don't know.
Or like a doctor. If I was married to a doctor, that would be everything.
Right. And you
so
wouldn't
if you're
do
not
it
gonna
for
get,
like the prestige of being with a doctor.
No, I could care less.
You're like, I just want to know everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, I
and
just
you
want to be
could
able to
tell-
ask someone,
and
so I
you
don't have
could
to go on WebMD every 5 minutes
and find out the worst.
Yeah, exactly. I can actually get like a doc. I don't have to. Yeah, 100%.
But I did feel
if
like
you and I ever break up, I'm gonna just go on ZocDoc and make a million appointments and just start using that as like a dating
as
app.
a dating app. Be
Yeah,
like, hey.
ZocDoc is my dating app.
That's hilarious. Just a hello, doctor. Oh my God, I had no idea I even called this number.
Just start doing
Anyway,
Zooms with
yeah,
all these
I have,
doctors all glammed up with a ring light. I'm just
yeah,
like,
and you're just
oh,
like, my symptoms are.
I have a cough.
No, you're like, my symptoms are that I am just getting too much attention, and I'm just attracted to anyone named Brian, like whatever his name
Dr.
is.
Brian. Oh
My God, that's my favorite name ever.
no, I'd be like, Doctor, I haven't pooed in 20 days.
Yeah, can you deliver my poo baby? But anyway.
But no, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, I just felt like he really showed a non-rageful side to himself, and he was being very supportive and kind. And you know what? Big ups to Aaron.
I can't lie to you. The past couple episodes, he's been saying lines, as we all know, that have made me feel physically ill.
Yes.
The wakey, grab your snakey, and all that type of gross stuff. But he did have a couple lines, where he was just like, "Oh my God, a poo baby! Like, what are we gonna name it?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think it's gonna be, a boy or girl?" I mean, he had some lines that were making me laugh.
He was being
and
funny.
I felt like he was being as sweet as possible in this like very uncomfortable situation for poor Sam.
Agreed.
So we're seeing the countdown. So we don't really know if she's gonna stay or not. I mean,
I hope she makes it through.
Yeah.
Didn't look good.
By the way, can you imagine if she does poop, what type of montage they're gonna have? Like the sun rising, like things like they already had like the prairie dogs and,
the gopher
turtle
hole.
Like what is it going to be when she
Turtle.
finally if she does poop? Like what type of montage are we going to see?
I don't know.
I'm not looking forward to that.
I'm not looking forward to that
it's
at all.
too much. They're out of control right now. It's out of control right now. Yeah, I think those were the major parts. So next week, John Henry is here. It looks like Kylie gets pulled. I don't know if it's for a sit down and then she's like, no, I'm with Avon, or if he pulls her for a date. Oh my God, I'm panicking.
I love when like rock. I mean, I don't love it, but it's like I love when rock solid couples get like someone comes down and steals them, because it's like I don't love it for them, but it's more like
it's the drama.
It's the ultimate piece of drama.
It's also the ultimate test.
When something's locked in, and then you see it get rocked, you're like, oh boy.
You know what I kind of hope? Just to add to the drama, I hope Kat is like, Tanner's my husband and I just burnt this bridge with Brayden. I hope John Henry comes down the next day, pulls Kat, and then Kat burns Tanner and goes to John Henry. That would be wild. I don't like hope that. I don't hope that for Tanner, but I just think it would be such wild drama if then she was just burning bridges and then goes for John Henry.
I would much prefer if another woman came down and stole Tanner.
Sure,
because then I want to see Kat in that environment.
Yeah,
she's never on her back foot. I want to see her on her back foot.
I'm just
see how
more
she
saying.
responds.
I guess I'll say this. I can see
Kat
this.
just laying
I can
waste
see
to like
this
everyone.
happening.
Yeah.
I can see this happening where John Henry comes down. She thinks he's super hot.
Yeah,
and then is like, goes on a date with
Tanner,
John Henry.
You know what?
And
I told you that we never had a connection anyways.
She sits Tanner down and is just like, I didn't think of you at all during the entire date. And it was just
nice
great
to have someone new, because it's been 6 hours I've been with you and it's like I'm already exhausted.
So we see that. We see John B from Charity Season come down, who is another cutie. And he pulls Eliza and they're kissing.
And it happens again.
And I'm like,
telling you about Eliza. I'm telling you about Eliza. She can be swayed. I mean, we've seen it multiple times now.
Yeah. I'm like, are we about to have another love triangle? Are we about to have a John B, Eliza, Aaron love triangle? I'm sweating watching it.
Yeah.
Aaron's sweating watching it. Oh my God. And then we have the Truth Box, which is a full Love Island. Yes. They love to do a Love Island rip, which I mean, I love because I love Love Island. So let's pull some inspo. But it's a truth box where it looks like they're in Love Island fashion, pulling statements about themselves that someone else said.
Those are the best.
Which we see Anonymous. It look like the beach is erupting in rage.
I love it.
Let it all come. I cannot.
Both these shows are 10 out of 10 right now.
Cannot wait. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for a bonus episode where Katie Thurston will be on discussing FBoy Island, the first 2 episodes. Sorry, Evan, this is going to be girl time. It's going to be me, Katie, and a special guest because we are going to discuss those F-boys in detail. So we got a bonus episode tomorrow. So it's going to be good. It's going to be a packed week. And with that being said, in typical fashion these days, because we've been doing lots of the episodes and all the recaps, we are late in it. So I got to send this man off to work. You got to go to work. And so we'll do call home
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Love you all.
We love you all. Bye.
Bye.